Faith over there. So thank you so much. Enjoy the session.
Thank you, Felistas. Ethel Foundation is an older persons organization as well, and it's a very good partner to MDFA. They have hosted us not once, not twice, but severally, and we really appreciate. So the monthly discussion forum for aging is a national dialogue that we have every month because we are rapidly aging and we need to keep the discussion alive. So Aging Concern Foundation, in partnership with Sukun, decided to collaborate, and we began the MDFAs in July last year. And the goal was to bring different stakeholders together to just talk about issues affecting aging. We've covered a myriad of topics, including access to healthcare, access to social protection, income security among older persons. We've looked at different international days for older persons, including marking the Dementia Awareness Month, the International Days for Older Person in October, and recently in this month of March, we are also recognizing women as we have the International Women's Day. So we gather together so that we have a dialogue. We have lived experiences. We have experts. We try to get experts to come and talk about different topics. And we also have older persons themselves to share their experiences. In it all, the goal of this discussion is to keep aging matters alive and being discussed on an ongoing basis, and also to share solutions amongst ourselves. So without further ado, I would want to welcome all of you and also welcome the team online. We are live on Teams and also we are live on YouTube. Just check MDFA Kenya, Monthly Discussion Forum for Aging Kenya. It's on YouTube, and yeah, you can share the link as well to your friends. We are going to do a quick round of introduction. Yes, we'll do a quick round of introduction so that we know each other. We are not very many, but let's just do a quick round of introduction. Just say your name, the organization you represent, and one expectation out of this meeting. I'm sure all of us received an invitation, yes? And what was the topic? What is the topic for today, guys? Yeah, climate change. Tom, what's the topic today? Okay, sawa. So we're going to do a quick round of introduction. You say your name, your organization, and one expectation that you have from this meeting. Start with you.
Morning, all. My name is Sarah Irungu. I come from Women for Dementia Africa. And my expectation is that as we grow older, does it mean that once we clock 60 or we clock 65, that's the end of life? Is it the end of life? If somebody were to tell you, go back to standard 1, would you go back to standard 1? Would you reverse? So we move forward, but how do we move forward? So from this forum, at my age, I'm over 70, I would expect to know more from the young ones. Looks like intergenerational. From the young ones, when you are at my age, I'm 72, will you be saying that your life has come to an end? It's the formal working that has come to an end, but life continues. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Please pass.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Henry Neondo. I'm glad to be here, and my expectation is to learn from people like Sarah here.
Yeah.
I want to know who are the secret of being that young. She says she's 72 and she doesn't look 72.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can still turn heads. Yeah, so I'm here to learn more.
Thank you, Henry. And have you said your organization, Henry?
Sorry. Yeah, I work for the African Coalition of Communities Responsive to Climate Change. I've been the head of climate change. However, I have a history Okay, I can see my people here that I used to work with when I was in Helpage for many years. And even the lady speaking there was my boss. Some other place.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Habari zetu wote.
Mzuri.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Amen.
Great. I'm glad. My name is Pamela Kaiduru. I work for the organization called African Coalition of Communities Responsive to Climate Change. This is a regional NGO that is based in Kenya, responding in the space of climate change, and more specifically looking at the issues mental health, creating resilience in communities around the climate-induced disasters and how they affect our health and well-being as people. My expectation today, I'm so excited to be in this group, to create new networks, to know new people, and to learn on the process of growing young with age. When I look at these smiles, I'm just so excited. And I hope to learn more and to engage more with us so that we can be able to pave our way on how we can live better life, even in changing climate. Thank you.
Thank you, Daktari. Yes, Michael?
Good morning. I'm Michael Kimuhu from Mikop, Kenya. We are based somewhere in Thika with also a global appearance. Presently, I represent the WHO Age-Friendly Cities and Communities as the ambassador for Africa. There are two ambassadors here. No confusion, no competition. Kinuthia Wamwangi is the ambassador for the older people. I'm the ambassador for the WHO, World Health Organization, Age-Friendly Cities and Communities. My mandate is as ambassador at large is to lobby for African cities to join the global network of the age-friendly cities and communities and to change the way they view older people. My expectation is that after this one, there will be a call for action. Every time we have a discussion, we should have a policy or a position paper that can actually be forwarded somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning again. I'm called Esther Wamera by name. I love the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal savior. And I come from Madare Older Persons Network. Madare Older Persons Network, I have a group of my people here. I'm a treasurer in the community, but then my secretary will say everything. What I expect today is to know more about what I should be next tomorrow. That's all I need.
Thank you, Esther.
Mungu ni mwema
Kila wakati.
na kila wakati. Kwa majina ni Mary Wamwere, natoka Mathare, kwa organization inajiita Mlara. Na matarajio yangu ningetaka kujua sana kuhusu mabadiliko ya hewa.
Thank you. Thank you, Wamwere. Karibu sana.
Good morning.
Morning.
Praise God. My name is Ann Wanjiro. I come from an organization called Madare Older Persons Network. I'm the secretary. And I also recently was able to be nominated to sit in the UN Habitat Advisory Board on Gender Issues. We'll be advising the ED of UN Habitat representing the grassroots women and especially the elderly. My expectation is that I'll like to hear more about, there is issues of disaster which really sometimes come about because of the climate change, which is really affecting us in Mathare. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Karibu sana.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So my name is Geoffrey Abincha. I come from the Wangukanja Foundation. Wangukanja is a survivor-led national non-governmental organization that deals with survivors of sexual violence and taking them through the integrated healing to agency. So my expectation today is to deepen our understanding on how climate change affects older persons, to also identify the policy gaps, and also to generate practical community-driven solutions that can help to strengthen resilience among the aging population. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Karibu sana.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Faith Agireta. I'm a volunteer at Ethel Foundation, and my expectation is to learn more about the topic, gain new skills, and connect with others. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Once again, I'm Felicitas Ndonye, working with Ethel Foundation for the Aged, an organization for the elderly dealing with older persons 60 years plus in 5 counties: Nairobi, Nakuru, Tharaka Nithi, Kisumu, and Kisii. We deal with different things: advocacy, humanitarian aid, livelihood. And my expectations today is to deal with the realities of climate change and how we can be able to teach older persons on the new changes.
Thank you, Felicitas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bernadette Musyoka. I work with Ethel Foundation in the Department of Administration and Finance. Once again, it's my pleasure to welcome you all. Maybe for those who is their first time maybe to be here, we have not met, but I can see many faces are familiar. So feel most welcome. And I'm expecting to learn more about climate change and network also. So thank you. And our CEO, Father Cornell, is on the way. Maybe he'll be late. So mkipatana na yeye ni sawa, but we hope atamake before we finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Benedict.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tom Okech. I represent La Vie Foundation. La Vie Foundation is an organization that works with older persons. We are based in the Republic of Kibera, but also work in other parts of the country. My expectation is how to address the new challenges coming with the climate change. Too much heat, too much rain, too much water, and too much dry seasons. And these are affecting older persons very much. And at my organization, currently we have several older persons who are directly affected by the vagaries of climate change. And since we are not expecting to go back to the climate patterns that we have been used to for many years, it is important that we try and address how older persons would be able to survive or to live with the new patterns. In the rural areas where we work, we have older persons who are farmers. And they have always known the months when to till their land, the months when to put down the seeds, and the months when they expect the rains. These are changing and may change completely. And how will they be able to understand the new patterns and how to deal with these new patterns? Because these are affecting their livelihoods, are affecting their health. Currently, those suffering from diseases that when it's called like arthritis, they are suffering more. So how do we address issues that affect older persons during such times. And we need, when Mr. Kanyingi talked about action points, policies, how do we address the duty bearers on these issues? Like, what should the duty bearers do to ensure that older persons are taken care of or are protected from the vagaries of climate change? Thank you.
Very important. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. How do we ensure older persons are protected from the challenges and changes of climate?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the invitation. It's my first time. I should be the newest kid in the block, although not a child as much. My name is Justus Ogando, and I'm here by invitation. I'm a founder and director of Spectrum Africa Climate Health Initiative. We focus largely on addressing, our mission is to build a resilient society that cares, prepares, and protects. And so awareness creation, policies, and implementation is our area of focus. We hope that we can drive the agenda for climate positive growth that is centered on health nexus and nature positive aspects, even as we do our business and live in this society. I also serve on the National Steering Committee on Climate Change and Health, led by the Ministry of Health, and we serve with other partners. And some of the areas of interest that we are tracking is on heat stress impact on maternal and newborn health. And the elderly is one of the pieces that interested me when I got the invitation to come. So that is something we are going to also incorporate into our assessment framework. We also follow up on hazards around flooding and especially the compounding factors. Most of the climate hazards happen in a compounding way. You have heat stress with drought and strong winds. You have flooding with backflow from the rivers and lakes and strong winds. So we are working towards a resilient society. Yeah, the climate patterns, as Okechwa said, are there with us. The mess has been caused by humanity. So how do we live with this challenge? That is what we are addressing in adaptation and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Justus, karibu sana. We're happy to have you.
It's me. Oh, okay. You don't know me. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sarah Nduku. I work with Aging Concern Foundation. I'm happy to be here today, and thank you for joining us. So my expectation is to learn practical solutions that we can implement in our communities, or even to have knowledge such that when I visit our OPS in the rural areas, I can take them through some practical solutions during such climatic events like floods. Sometimes I don't know what to tell them, so I hope today I will learn.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Hoping to learn some practical solutions. We have the experts in the house, so they will definitely share that with us. Over.
Great, and then good morning.
Good morning.
Mubeko Akengori is my name. I'm Partnerships Director at the Youth Cafe. We are youth-led and youth-serving Pan-African non-profit. But most importantly, we also have an intergenerational arm that does some of the activities. And we have a product called Gen Z. Yes, Gen Z. So Gen Z and Wazai. My expectation, of course, is to bring the Gen Z vibe. Mko ready for activity? Mnakumbuka farasi, eh? Sasa kitu kama hiyo. So that is one. I hope to bring the Gen Z vibe. And number two, we are also thinking of a Gen Z tree planting. Tupeleke wazai huko, tuwashikilie kwa tukapande miti. Cheers, thanks.
Wow, wow. Hey Gen Z, hey, mambo ni mengi, si ndio? But we love it. We love it when we have younger persons within us. When you talk about the monthly aging, the monthly discussion forum for aging. It is not just a discussion for the older persons. We love it when we see younger persons involved. The Youth Cafe is one of our key partners, and you know, we do hope perhaps we'll jump into the Gen Z vibe eventually. But thank you very much. I can see our very able partners. CPF Foundation is in the house. Perhaps they could just introduce themselves before we rush. Just say your name, your organization, and what is your one expectation. Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Habari ya asubuhi. Shikamo. Sababu mimi ni kadogo. My name is Maureen Kivuti. I work with the CPF Group Foundation. My expectation today is to learn and to see if we can come up with possible solutions to what is the climate change, that possible solutions that sort issues that affect older persons with regards to climate change. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Maureen. Nasike, please, would you come say hi?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nasike Kisaka. I work with Sukun. We're the host here today. Thank you for coming. So my one expectation is for us to leave this room with a bit more knowledge on what we can do to support older persons in climate change.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we have Elizabeth there who is supporting us with the registration. Elizabeth is one of our volunteers as well. Good morning. And Zablon as well. Zablon, please. But you had introduced yourself. Please.
Good morning. My name is Ekisa Zablon. I'm part of the Sokun team, and I'm happy to be here today. My expectation is that we try and find practicable solutions on climate change that affect the older persons directly or indirectly. Thank you so much.
Asanteni sana for that wonderful introduction. Nita request ya kwamba tutachanganya lugha, si ndio? So that all of us are comfortable. Sometimes Kisungu inatuingia, lakini si lugha chetu, si ndio? Let's try to mix, ndio pia we don't lose even the people that are following us on YouTube. We are MDFA. Please share to your networks. Let your networks know that we are live on YouTube. Even if they cannot be here physically, they can follow the discussions online. Thank you very much. We have a few more people coming in, but they will introduce themselves. We want to quickly move on the team online. Arno, do you want to help us?
So our online team, kindly go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's start with Titus. Yes, we can hear you.
So we seem not to hear the team online.
Can I audible now?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
I know you can hear me, but can the team in the audience hear
Yes,
me?
yes,
We
yes.
can
So I
hear you
can-
now. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. From the video, I can see so many people that are familiar. Thank you, Youth Cafe, for joining our this MDFA. I can see Francis. I can see my mom there, Esther Wamera. Thank you all for participating in this edition of the MDFA. We are excited about the topic that is ahead of the discussion today. I was saying earlier on that I'm joining this meeting today from Western Kenya, a county called Uriri, and a village called Wamiembe, where we have almost 10 associations of older people, OPS. SCF and Sukun have been coordinating this MDFS, and we are excited that you keep on participating actively. And today it will be really nice to hear your perspectives of how to talk about climate change through an age-inclusive lens. A lot of times when we talk about climate adaptation, climate mitigation techniques, we sometimes feel like it is not an area where senior citizens can be involved, but I think older people can be active other than passive participants in climate mitigation and adaptation campaigns. So looking forward to the discussions, and I'll be joining and following keenly online, and thank you again for being part of us. If you need to know any more information about SCF, Sarah is in the room to share more. Thank you. Back to you, Arnold.
All right, thank you, Titus. Let's go to Benita. Grace Kagondu.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Grace Kagondu, and I am a member of AFIX, that is the Association of Former International Civil Servants, that is UN retirees, and I'm here to just learn to hear the different aspects of sharing and learn more on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Jane Gitau. All right, Jen Miano. You are unmuted, but we can't hear you. Jen? Okay. Let's maybe Jen, you can check your microphone. We'll come back to you. Kinuthia Wamwangi. And Wanjiku Ngoru.
Good morning. I'm
morning.
on the road following. I'm on the road following up, and I'll be present. I'm present.
All right, thank you. Most welcome. Jen Miano, could you try again? We still can't hear you, but you are welcome to introduce yourself in the chat, and we are looking forward to an interactive conversation today. McKenna.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the team online. In case you are not able to introduce yourself, please just put it on the chat, and we will be reading intermittently the people that are following us live. But we are very grateful again. Karibuni sana. We are going now to move straight to the discussion today for the monthly discussion forum for aging. Topic ya leo is aging in a changing climate. Kuzeeka, aging in a changing climate. The risks, the realities, and the resilient responses. This is the first time MDFA we are having the discussion on climate change. So we felt it would be good, also in line with whatever has been happening in the country. We have seen recent episodes of flooding. Over 70 people lost their lives within Nairobi and other counties. And it's as a result of climate change. We never saw rain coming in February, yeah? But the rains just came, caught us off guard. A lot of older persons go through these shocks, but are we talking about it more? What are the practical solutions? How are older persons adapting to the climate change? Yeah, so we are going to have lived experiences, and then we will also have the experts to share with us their knowledge, their skills, what are the risks that are associated with it, what are the practical interventions perhaps we should be employing. But I'll quickly read the brief. That climate change is increasingly shaping the everyday lives of Kenyans, and older persons are among the most affected. Rising temperatures and extreme heat, unpredictable rainfall patterns, and recurrent floods are affecting health, well-being, and the daily activities of many older people. Against this background, the March monthly discussion forum on aging will explore the intersection of climate change and aging. The forum will highlight the lived experiences of older persons, the realities of climate hazards affecting them, and practical strategies and measures that communities and institutions can adopt to strengthen resilience and protect the health and well-being of older persons. So the flow of the MDFA today will be a bit different. We decided that the older persons themselves will be our keynote speakers. They will share their lived experiences, and then we will have the experts in a panel and also take us through their presentation. So for the first, for the older person session, we have the Mathare Older Persons Network, and we have a lived experience by Mary Wamwere, and then she will also be joined by Anne Wanjiru, who will just give a general overview in regard to the work that they do in Mathare and what are some of the practical solutions and even the challenges they have been facing. So karibu sana Mary Wamwere, alafu Anne atakuja baada yako. Karibu. Please, let's give a round of applause. Let's give a round of applause. She will share her lived experience, and also the MDFA team went further and also got a few other interviews through our older persons organization. We have the Kibera Daycare Center that they also shared a few videos, and also MyCop. They shared a few videos of older persons giving their lived experiences, what they think about climate change. So let's have it from Mary. Mary ananiambia anaongea Kiswahili. Na ni sawa, si ndio? Amekubalika? Aya. So Mary, karibu, tatuambia jina yako, pale unaishi, na pia what you have come to share with us today kulingana na mada yetu ya leo. Karibu.
Habari zenyu tena. Habari zenyu tena. Kwa majina ni Mary Wamwere, na mimi ni mkaaji wa Mathare, na mimi ni mwathiriwa wa mvua ile ilionyesha ile ya 2024 mwezi wa 4. Nilikuwa nakaa huko chini na vitu zangu zote ziliweza kuenda, hata niliweza kuokolewa na vijana. Kila kitu kilienda, hata mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa wakupelekwa na maji, lakini Mungu akaniokoa. Na sasa nikawa tena mwathiriwa. Sasa nikahama huko chini, nikapanda huko juu. Nikakaa huko juu. Last year mwezi wa 3 niliathirika na moto. Kila kitu kilichomeka, nilitoka tu vile nilikuwa. Na zile nguo zilikuwa kwa mwili. Alafu tena sasa hii mwezi mwezi wa 3 tena, ilikuwa ni Friday tena, kulichomeka kulichomeka tena hapo palichomeka wakati tulikuwa usiku saa 4. Ile ya mwaka jana ilichomeka mchana saa 4. Hata hii hatukuweza kuokoa kitu chochote. So mimi niliweza kutoka vile pia nilikuwa, na pia hiyo iliniadhiri sana, hata ikaweza kuniadhiri kiakili, kwa sababu sijawahi pata counselor wa kuniongelesha toka wakati huo. Na tena sasa vile mimi niko mzee hivi, mimi pia ningependa tu kutoka Mathare, kwa sababu hizi nyumba za Mathare tunazikaa kwa sababu ya kupata mapato kidogo. Juu ziko rahisi, maisha ya Mathare ni rahisi. So mtu kama mimi siwezi kuafford 5,000 ya kukomboa nyumba ya mawe, na ndio maana tunaathirika kila wakati. So mimi hata ningependa kutoka hapa Nairobi, mimi niende nyumbani. Mathare nimeishi miaka 41, 41 years.
Na kwa sasa vile imekuwa affect, unaweza sema tofauti ni gani kulingana na sasa ukiwa mzee na kulingana na experience ya kwanza ukiwa msichana kidogo?
Wakati ule nilikuwa naweza kufanya kazi ngumu kwa sababu nilikuwa na nguvu, lakini wakati huu siwezi kazi ngumu. Saa hii hata vile pale ninakaa nimepewa tu na mama mwingine amenihost kidogo, ndio nipate, kama nikipata pahali na nipate pesa niweze kumuondokea, unaona, juu kila kitu kilichomeka kwa nyumba.
Na ni kibarua gani ulikuwa unafanya kabla ya kuathirika?
Hii mara ya mwisho nilikuwa na freezer, nilikuwa nawekea wamama wa samaki wananilipa, na nilikuwa natengeneza ice cream, nilikuwa naweka hapo nje. Watoto wa shule wakitoka wanakuja wakinunua. Kama ni wakati wa kiangazi, kama hakuna baridi, nilikuwa nauza curtains.
Asante Mary Wamwere. Na sasa kwa maoni yako, kuna wazee wengi zaidi ambao wako Mathare.
Wako
na ambao wamekuwa affected as well. Ni changamoto gani kubwa kabisa ambayo mnakumbana nayo?
Changamoto huko ni, nitaeleza nini, na Kiswahili naye pia ni ngumu. Nitasema nini? Ni kuwa hawawezi ajiriwa, unaona, na hawawezi fanya kazi ngumu. Walikuwa kimbeleni tulikuwa tunaenda soko, hata unanunua mboga. Sasa hii ukienda huko, ukiguzwa tu kidogo na wale watu wa kubeba unaanguka. Unaona, nao wakuwagi na heshima na wazee.
Na kuna usaidizi yoyote ambao mmekuwa mkipata, ama kuna kazi yoyote inafanyika kwa community ambayo inawasaidia kwa sasa, kama ile kazi ambayo Mathare Network inafanya?
Saa ingine Mathare Network wanatupeaga chakula na manguo. Kwanza wakati tumeathirika wanatusaidiaga sana hata na chakula.
Asante sana Mary. Tunashukuru kwa kukuja na kushare story yako. Na we hope ya kwamba hata kutoka kwa hii forum we can be able to respond to this. Mathare has suffered double burden of disasters. It's not just the floods, but 2 simultaneous fires ambazo so it's a combination of mvua na bado moto. Na so we will have now Anne Wanjiru from Mathare Network for Older Persons. Anafanya kazi mingi, na yeye ni mzaliwa wa Mathare pia. Mzaliwa wa Mathare, amekulia huko, na bado sasa akona wamama wengine. She is also becoming an older person herself in Mathare. Na yeye ni mzee already. Wapigwe makofi, si ndio? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for this space. Habari zenyu? Yeah, my name is Anne Wanjiro, and I'm also proud to say that I was born and brought up in Mathare. I'm a product of the oldest school in Mathare, that is Kiboro Primary School, and also a product of Pangani Girls. Yeah, I used to walk from Mathare to Pangani Girls, though with a lot of discrimination in school because of many other issues coming from an informal settlement. So I would like just to share, our organization is called Mathare Older Persons Network, which we started 5 years ago. But before the 5 years ago, you had Wamera saying, Wamwere saying that she's a member of Mathare Legal Aid and Human Rights Advocacy. That is an organization we formed, including her, I think like maybe 30 years ago, when tulikuwa kama agency hivyo. And as we grew old in that organization, with also my chair, that's how now we decided with our colleague Wamera that that space is not really very conducive to the older person. The group now, because it has a lot of younger generation and the rest. And we got the idea, we came up with now the Mathare Older Persons Network, where the registration of joining the organization is 55. And the 55 age, we had to put it because our chair lady, who is the link person with the government and the older persons, was 55 when we were starting. And the reason why we really started is that the challenges we saw the older persons are getting, when you get to attain the age of getting the social fund which is given by the government, the 2,000, sometimes you see that people in the informal settlements are not getting those information. So that's how we decided, let's start the organization. And also we also saw how the older generation now are being marginalized, accessibility, because I remember one thing which was really pushing us a lot when it comes to climate change, distribution of food and the rest, is that some of the decisions where those resources were being discussed, sometimes you'll find that they were discussed in spaces where the older persons could not access there. And that's how we decided, let's come up with our organization and try to advocate that the government, in any committee which is done in Mathare, older persons are very well represented. If you come to our meeting, and I know, thank you so much for visiting our office yesterday, she got it an experience of meeting the others and saying where we even have now the village elders and everything. So when we come to the issues of climate change and the disaster, for me, I have a very long experience. And maybe with due respect, I can share that. I used to go to school in Pangani Girls, it was a day school. But in the evening, I don't have anywhere to sleep. Because I remember my mom, she rest in peace, she used to sew our dresses na mikono yake anashona. Because you can imagine, we all went to school, we were in Pangani Girls with my sister. And then even when we come back, everything is burnt down. Hakuna kitu ya pahali ya kulala na ya kwenda. And imagine you are supposed to report to school. That's why I was talking about a few marginalization. And that went on even with my children and the rest now where they went to go to school in secondary. But then we thank God here we are. But I think with that passion and the rest of the team, we decided, because my mother was old, and she's the one who motivated us to join all these community-based organizations, because she was also she did a lot of advocacy. So we realized that as the elderly, we need to organize ourselves. Because when it comes to fire, because the fire didn't start now, even those days, and in fact those days there were many, is that we need to organize ourselves the way our parents used to do, so that even when distribution of food, distribution of many things which are coming in the informal settlement, because of that push and pull, as elder people, we can't be able even to stand, to line up, like kunga imekuja huko kwa DC and the rest. So unless we are there where decisions are being made, we cannot get accessibility to some things. And this was a very big experience during the flooding, which was last year. because we lost a lot of people there, like now what Wamwere was saying, and people are staying in the Mathare Polytechnic. But then you could see that even when the distribution is being done, we could not really access it very well, because you see now, especially with the young people, that's what happens. And then when there is a fire outbreak, people can shout, and the young generation, or even people who are not very old, are able to run away. But we find for us, kitambo utoke kwa kitanda, uanze kukimbia, uangalie wapi, ukumbuke, ala, kitambulisho yangu. You know, for us, the elderly, we really value our ID. Unarudi kuchukua. And then the rest is history. And I know, like when the fire happened last year, Wamera was sharing the experience when she came to our office. We are based at the Mathare Polytechnic. That she had gone out to look for something. All of a sudden, she looks behind, anaona moshi. And then she started shouting. Before she could even go back to pick something else, but she usually walks with the ID in the pocket, the fire blew out. So everything was like that. So when we were coming in the morning, she was just seated there with the rest of the team. But you see now, for these other younger people, they were able now maybe kurudi, anachukua, anarealize moto iko pale, and sometimes sasa kama ni hizi simu, wanaambiana, nimeona moshi huko, na ijaanza. So that is how we decided, like now, like Mathare older persons, we need to be very advanced. To look for people, when there is maybe meeting for disaster risk, we make sure we are there, tunatuma watu weze kuelewa ndio, so that disaster ikikuja, wanaweza kutoroka. And then we also saw that for us now as Mathare older persons, we need like to have a small kitty. Tunakutana, tunachanga. We have already accessed women fund. Ingawa tunalemewa kidogo kulipa, tumepewa lakini sasa tunalemewa kidogo kulipa, tunaendelea vizuri. And then even our own contribution, so that if one of us have a challenge, we can do a rapid response haraka. And then now we do it with other partners. I know you have Suguru has really supported us, because I think the first people I write a message to them on WhatsApp when I'm stressed up, the way Wamera said the issues of mental health, I just see the number, Nani, mother. I just send a message, it doesn't matter at what time, and then I think we feel released. Or if we are in our own meeting, we just try to identify people who are supporting us. Like now that flooding, we were able to talk with Age Watch Kenya, and they were able to support us, to support 200 the elderly, specifically elderly, they gave them 10,000 Kenya shilling, because majority were sharing one room, which is 10 by 10. I know landed people can understand 10 at 10. The mattresses which the government was giving we appreciate a lot our government. That was what they were just putting on the floor. Munalala kwa hiyo mattress kama ni watu wawili watatu. Munajifunika wazee. And then we lost a few because of the challenges. That was also another now challenge for raising for the burial and the rest. And then other activities we thought also to do now as Mathare older person to keep ourselves now like continuous busy and getting some resources. We had one of our members is a retired agriculture officer. In fact, during that flooding, the small urban farming we were doing was the one supporting now the people who were staying in those camps, and especially the elderly. Because here you are, umeletewa unga. Surely unajua unga mkiwa kwa kambi ya muwezi kula ama kufanya nini. We do appreciate Madam Esther Pasari brought a lot of food like every day. And then even now the county came in with the Dishian county because the schools were closed. But then the vegetables now are there. We just decided let now our elderly people use mkipata unga na mafuta. The jikos were there. Natoa kwa nyumba wanapika hiyo chakula. So that's how we were able to maintain at that time. But from that time, we decided, because of the issue of psychosocial support, that and the mentally challenged, majority of some of our members have, the elderly, And then because of what we faced that trauma, we were able to start to meet. So those people who know where the Madare Mental Hospital is, behind it, there were structures which were swept away. And then now our good government came with now now the 30 meters. So some permanently structures were demolished and the rest. But because these elder women, some of them were retired, so they bought they had constructed already permanent structures, Nalonia Bank. In fact, one time the bank came and I told them, unless you pick these older women, mwaweke huko, how do they repay the loan? Now, wherever they were getting the resources to pay the loan is not there. And then they could see the sense of it. But now, every Tuesday, like for 6, 7 months, we used to meet, and even now, once in a while, we mobilize for food, we cook, we come and sit on those stones where, you know where Passionate was there, where those structures are. We sit there, we talk, we look for people who can come and talk to those women, we look for partners who can come and talk for our elder women, because now they have nowhere to go, they have nothing. So morning they wake up on Tuesday, we sit, we chat, even now. But sometimes now we don't call them always because we don't have that resources to buy them food and the rest. So that's how we have been moving on. And right now what we are really doing, that's why I said we are trying to get once in a while when there's those workshops on issues of climate change, and I'm so happy for this topic, and disaster risk management, we usually go there. And then remember, these elderly women, majority of us are on medication. It is swept away. It is burnt down. And you know the challenges right now that their medicine in our government hospitals is a big challenge. So that's also another issue. We look for partners, or we do our own contributions. We do make soap detergents so that at least if the elderly, we got some resources from one of our partners, we started now the soap detergent so that at least when you come, you get an order, you come and pick, then you need the container of 5 liters or anything, any amount. You sell, you take half, and we bring half to the group so that at least we're able to buy more materials. And again, from, as Wamwere said, the business of those who are able, we were able to look for a few resources to start up the business. But now the biggest challenge is that, hata hiyo biashara yao, as we are speaking, zimeenda zote. And you know, for us, ile pesa umefanya kidogo, unaongezea biashara. It was swept away ama imechomwa. The first fire, let me just finish. The first fire, which was at Kosovo, where we usually meet, 7 lives were lost. That was in the media. We are talking of last year after the flooding. The second fire was in Huruma. 5 were lost. The third fire was now, this year was in number 10. The other one was now Friday, which where Wamwere lives. So I think I was telling McKenna, we need to have this, in fact, alitumwa, nafikiria amekwambia. We need to have such workshops now where people can be trained on issues of how do you avert these disasters? Because if you listen to some of the fire outbreaks, you'll see that maybe it's something which can be, it can reduce. Yeah. So we need maybe more trainers, especially for the elderly. Even when there's flooding, what can they do to avert more disaster? And then I think we also need now, I was saying that we are trying, if we get support, to map out. Wale wazee wako Mathare, kuna wale wako na mali rural home wanaweza enda, ni nyumba hawana huko, or they don't have resources to construct, or they were disinherited. Do you have something, maybe how the lawyers, where we can follow it up so that we can reduce? Because the highest population in Mathare, wengi, are the elderly. And the reason is that when HIV AIDS, those years was there, a lot of the young generation walienda, wakawacha wazee na watoto. That one is an experience they also have. So that is what we are trying to say, that let's have more locally workshops there. Awareness, because this is now becoming too much for us. Thank you.
A round of applause, please. Wow. Are we getting something? She has passionately spoken of the challenges in Mathare. And I know it's not just in Mathare as well. It's across the country. But the vulnerability is real with an older person. The impact of such shocks on an older person are higher as compared to a younger person. Even the response time, the way she has mentioned, the reaction time is a bit slower. And you can imagine starting from nothing. Wamwere was telling me when she was younger, in 2007, she had the energy kukimbizana na kanjo kwa street kuuza. Saa hii hiyo nguvu ataweza kweli kushikwa na kanjo kukimbia hivi hawezi. So the vulnerabilities of older persons are real in shocks. And we also now have a video, a 2-minute video. Our media team, are we ready? Yes. We can play the video. We went to the field through our older persons organizations. We have MyCop, Mangu Integrated, organization in Mangu, and they are the ones that they helped us gather a few stories from older persons themselves. And we asked them 3 questions. How was it before? How can they tell this climate change? What are the how are they adapting? All right? So let's hear it from them.
wa jua na wakati wa jua, lakini sasa sivyo hivyo. Hapana, mambo mengine yanakuja hata bila sisi kutarajia, inakuja tu. Sasa mimi kama wakati ule baridi inakuja kidogo, hata ikiwa kwa ama kidogo, mwili yangu inabadilika mambo mengine. Naanza kukohoa. Na mbele hiyo sikuwa nikikohoa. Viungo vyetu vimezeeka. Lakini kama ukikataa kufanya ukiwa na shilingi yako unapeana. Sasa kama unakataa kufanya utakosa chakula. Tena kama ukifanya utapata chakula, ukikataa kufanya utakosa chakula. Tena ile tulikuwa tunapewa wazee kama inua jamii, sijui kwenda wapi. Sasa mimi kuna miezi kama mingapi, miezi kama hii sijapata. Kuna matatizo mengi sana hapa nyumbani. Vile mimi naweza sema kama watu wanazeeka wanapata matatizo mengi sana aina mingi. Ikuwa na wakati wa mvua na wakati wa mvua, wakati wa jua na wakati wa jua. Lakini sasa sivyo hivyo. Hapana, mambo mengine yanakuja hata bila sisi kutarajia, inakuja tu. Sasa mimi kama wakati ule baridi inakuja kidogo, hata ikiwa kwa
was picked was never played, so she never got it in the news, and it was in Oro, and she refused. The story here is we interviewed 3 people. That old person, Stanislas Kemodo, is I think 92, and his plight is that these days they cannot predict when the cold comes, when the floods come, when the soil erosion invades their farm. And he was actually saying that when the rains come, now that is not strong enough, he gets very cold. Unfortunately, he lost his wife a few months ago, so he's living alone. And he wanted to highlight that climate change has really affected him. The other one is about, I want to take a very short time because I know we need to continue. The other one is a lady, Mary Wamboi, who is 84. Mary Wamboi is right now in a lot of panic. It is raining. Last year, the floods came just to her doorstep. And all the other members of the family moved away. And she didn't have anywhere to go. And she lived in a lot of fear. I remember I used to visit them and this other lady. At least Mary did not get submerged. Agnes got everything submerged. And unfortunately, the young people came stealing the goats and the cows from this lady. Because she moved, she left everything in the flood. Tomorrow morning, she finds that the things are gone. But Mary is highlighting about the issues of fear of getting flooded. And because she's also, she has a disability. I just wished you'd see her weeding her farm using the plastic chair as a prop. She goes to the farm and does the weeding because she's alone there. And she has to make sure that the mbogas are weeded. The last one is Gabriel. That one speaks very good English. He's a very old man, an old accountant. And he was talking about, he's feeling now that the rains are coming, magonjwa yamezidi. Whenever it rains, he's so weak, because of the cold, he knows the chest to get congested. So those are some of the things that are happening to the older persons. And it's not only in the rural areas, it's also in the towns. And my call is, this is the time we need social housing more than the affordable housing. The issue of Anne, I lived in Mathare when the Mathare houses were ilikuwa makaratasi. And you'd get out, go to Kibarua, ukirudi hakuna nyumba. And the same thing that is happening to the old people now is what was happening that time. I remember we used to evacuate old people to Isli. And we would be left there to guard the things. At least that time, the 42 brothers were there, you would not steal anything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good job. Thank you so much even for going to the field and picking the data, talking to the older persons themselves. We really appreciate, and I do hope we can be able to play that video so that we can also watch. Thank you very much. So without further ado now, we want to invite some of our speakers for the day before they come here for a panel discussion, which will be led by Henry Nyondo. But our first speaker is Dr. Pamela Kaithuru. Dr. Pamela Kaithuru is a registered psychologist and the president of the International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals, instructor at the Institute of Meteorological Training and Research Regional Training Center for English-speaking Africa, consulting psychologist for Africa Coalition of communities responsive. She is a mental health professional, an internationally certified addiction professional, author, trainer of trainers, researcher with over 20 years of experience in the workplace, in the area of HIV mainstreaming, alcohol and drug abuse prevention, mental health, psychological wellness, and climate change. Dr. Pamela is a social influencer and champion in mental health, climate change, and drug use prevention. She has experience in the public workplace, policy development, counseling, program development, and implementation. She holds a doctoral degree in counseling psychology from the Catholic University of East Africa, master's from the Mount Kenya University, a diploma in meteorology from the Institute of Meteorological Training and Research, and diploma in addiction counseling and treatment from Support for Addiction Prevention and Treatment in Africa. Can we give her a round of applause as she comes here? Dr. Pamela Kaithuru. Karibu sana. Yes. So I'm just informed that the video is ready, but they can play it? Yeah, okay.
Vile mimi nasema kama watu wanazeeka wanapata matatizo mengi sana aina mingi. Iko na wakati wa mvua na wakati wa mvua, wakati wa jua na wakati wa jua. Lakini sasa sivyo hivyo, hapana. Mambo mengine yanakuja hata bila sisi kutarajia, inakuja tu. Sasa mimi kama wakati ule baridi inakuja kidogo, hata iko kwa ama kidogo, mwili wangu inabadilika mambo mengine. Naanza kukohoa. Na mbele hiyo sikuwa nikikohoa, viungo vyetu vimezeeka. Lakini kama ukikataa kufanya, ukiwa na shilingi yako unapeana. Sababu kama unakataa kufanya, utakosa chakula. Tena kama ukifanya utapata chakula, ukikataa kufanya utakosa chakula. Tena ile pesa tulikuwa tunapewa ya wazee ama inua jamii, sijui kwenda wapi. Sasa mimi kuna miezi kama mingapi, miezi kama hivi sijapata. Kuna matatizo mengi sana hapa nyumbani.
Wakati ya mafuriko sisi wazee ndio tunakuwa na shida sana, kwa sababu sasa wakati ilikuwa ya mafuriko mwaka ingine, maji ilikuwa imefika tu karibu na bomu, ilikuwa karibu kwa boma ya mlango yangu, kwa mlango ya boma yangu. Na sasa wale watoto wakitolewa, wale vijana wakongwe ndio wanakuwa wa mwisho. Sasa tunahalilika sana. Kama sasa ni magonjwa inatusika.
Affect old persons because during the cold time there are so many different pest terms and it affect old people.
I'm so glad to be here this morning. It's a great privilege. I truly thank God for the opportunity to engage in this monthly forum, and more so speaking to an issue that is very, very important, an issue around climate change, and of course, looking at the elderly, the people that really have a lot of knowledge that we can tap on, the people that have served this nation in various capacities for so long and are really holding us together as a nation. So I need not introduce myself because the introduction has been made, but let me say I began as a meteorologist employed by the government. I still work for the government, but then due to need, I moved to psychology. So I integrate meteorology or climate science with psychology. What prompted me to go to psychology is in the late 90s, 97, 98, 2000, 2003, there were a lot of losses around HIV in the workplace. And that touched my heart when I looked at the trauma that was going on at the workplace. When we lose our worker, we lose our colleague, the family is struggling to come together, the stigma at the workplace, the stigma in the community, the need was dire. And being a believer, I asked God, how can I serve you differently? And that's how I started the journey of psychology. And I've worked in the space of HIV, then got into drug and substance use, mental health, and now climate change. Integrating all these, responding to really contribute to the global call on sustainable development goals. And looking more so on the climate action, the health and well-being, gender and social integration. So this morning, I truly want to thank you, McKenna, and your organization for allowing us to be a part of this. I consult for African Coalition of Communities Responsive to Climate Change, as I said, which is a regional NGO that is based in Kenya, but working in Africa. And when we looked at the aspect of climate and the response around climate and humanitarian issues, we established that there is a gap around mental health. When we look at disaster response, the support that is being given is basically physical. Infrastructure, where is this person going to live, shelter, food, medicine. What we asked ourselves, what was the mental health of these people? What is happening that is not seen, that is leaving a wound, that is affecting various other aspects of life? And that's how we started the aspect of mental health. I'm privileged to have our secretary for ACRCC, Bwana Henry Niondo here. Henry, you can wave to the people. What I realized is that many of you have related with him before. So allow me to, so which one should I use? This one or mine? Okay, great. So that I can move. Okay, so objectively, this is what I'm going to focus on. Look at what are the risks that the elderly are facing. What are the likely mental health implications of the climate risks? And therefore, how can we be able to create resilience? Because that is what we need for people to continue life. Because climate change is happening, the extremes are getting frequent, more intense, and more severe, and more populations are being affected. How then can we create resilience? What are the pathways to resilience building? And therefore, what is our call to action? So join me as we continue writing these scripts around the elderly that are many in our communities. And I begin by saying, aging in a changing climate, which is the topic that we are looking at today, looking at the risks realities, resilience, and response is very, very important because globally, statistics are telling us by 2050, the numbers of the elderly in the world will be increasing. And you'll see the statistics even in Kenya. The other factor that I need to state is climate shocks are intensifying. You have heard the testimonies of our elderly amongst us and the video that you have seen. They are saying this has been happening. Fires have been there, floods has been there, but the impact is even becoming more real. So we are not running away from it. So we need to look at the intersection of aging and climate so that then we can ask ourselves, what do we do differently to make our people more resilient? The other thought is we need to invest in older persons' mental health and well-being. We need to strengthen communities to support them, even as we support other stratas of the economy. The picture you see there is of my dad. Is in his late 80s. And that old man is a retired teacher. The lady there is an in-law of ours. My brother married in that family. She is also in her 70s. But when you look at them, they are at different levels of aging, isn't it? And they have their own experiences that need to be learned. My dad, old as he is, today if I don't buy his newspaper, he will complain. Every day a newspaper is delivered to him so that he can be able to catch up with what is happening. And he doesn't use glasses. Me, I'm using glasses. So aging is not, or retirement as one of us said, when you reach 60, it doesn't mean end of life. You begin a new life that is really even more enjoyable. When we look at the statistics for Kenya, the number of the elderly, the data is there to speak. I took this from the census of 2019. You can see above 70, looking at 70 to 74, the number of women, the number of men, amongst a total population of 470 at that time. When you look at the 80s, you can see the numbers. This is 2019 census. It tells you this is a big population to ignore. This is a big population as a country not to focus on. This is a big population not to mind because they have rights, isn't it? It's their right to be taken care of. And they have needs that we have to respond to. So as we reflect, we have to look at climate change not only as an environmental crisis, but it's also a public health and social justice issue. When disaster occurs, when the floods, the droughts are occurring, it is a matter of the justice of the people to be provided with the necessary support that they need. So it ceases to just be an environmental issue. It becomes a public health issue. And we know that older people are actually affected, and even more affected or differently affected from other people. But unfortunately, more often than not, they are not represented in climate dialogues. How many of us have attended a forum where forecasts are being released? How many of us here? How many of us are participating in climate dialogues in their region or in their locality? Wonderful. At least I can see a number of us. And this tells us that we are making progress, isn't it? But we need more and more of them. Then we need to realize that mental health and well-being is very critical. But it is a new area, even in our locality. When we talk about health and well-being, before it was about physical health. But today, mental health is very, very important, and it is very critical to think about and to actually respond to. I want to say that a resilient community is one that protects both the physical and the mental well-being of the aging. As we think, where are they sleeping? What are they eating? Are they dressed? Are they warm? We need to ask ourselves, are they psychologically okay? Because somebody could be living in a big house, but they have a psychological issue that is actually lowering their quality of life. The people in the urban and the informal settlement, we may take them to maybe the camps when there is a disaster, and we provide them with blankets, provide them with food. But what are they going through in their psychological space? How are they mentally? That would actually affect their health and well-being. And especially so when we look at the extremes that we are experiencing today. Droughts. You can imagine this is a young person who is pulling a mtungi. Anasukuma mtungi kwenda kutafuta maji. Si tunajua inafanyika hivyo sana sana kwa drylands. Mtu anaenda kilomita mingi kutafuta maji. Akiwa ni mkongwe, mama mkongwe mwenye anatakiwa kulea wajukuu, na labda akona na mzee wake pia ni mzee. Itabindi avurute hiyo mtungi hiyo wakati wote, akuje na maji kidogo, na labda akona ng'ombe yake hapa inahitaji maji. Hiyo mtungi moja amekuja nayo itatosha yeye na itoshe jamii. And yet it is a challenge of climate. When flooding occurs, we have heard the stories from amongst ourselves. When that house is flooded and an alarm for run is sounded, do we go to find out if there is a elderly person in that house who has likely not run away or exited at the sound of the alarm? This person who is in there, maybe for 3 days they are forgotten. Hawajakula chochote. Ajapata maji ya kunywa, clean water that is needed. They need nutritional care. Probably they are in that flooded environment. All because of the flood, they have been told to move to higher grounds. Eh? When we say move to higher grounds, I see somebody laughing. Tuseme huyu mama ama mzee, hapa ndio kwake amekaa miaka yote. For 30, 50, 70 years. This is where they have gone home, isn't it? Now they have to move to higher grounds. This is where they have their identity. Eh? Wengine watakuambia, nilizaa watoto wangu wote, yumbili kokondi zote ziko hapa. Hapa ndio nilisika mababu zetu wamezikwa. Anashindwa mnasema nitoke niende wapi? How do you bring that elderly person to really appreciate the fact that the social constructs have to change so that they can live, isn't it? This is where they have identified as their home. Move to higher ground. They are saying, move to higher ground where? Hapa ndio mababu zangu hapa. This is my land. Now I am leaving my land because the rain has come so that I can go and stay where I have no control. What does that do to the mind of this person? They have told the story of when the fire occurs. It may be not climate related, but they have lost everything. Then we come with our clothes and we are giving them to use. This mama is used to this dress that she bought many years ago. It has a story. What is it doing to them in the mind? The one that you have given may be more expensive than hers, but hers meant a lot. The fact that the flood carried her property, it means a lot. So the mental health of this person really matters. See, these who are crossing the flooded area on the picture there. What if a known person is told to hold that draft and move? Do you think it is very easy for them? It is not easy for them. What does it mean? So, how is climate affecting the elderly? There is physical and environmental risks that they are predisposed to. The heat waves, I know somebody is talking about it. Drought and floods, a lot of displacement that is even coming with insecurity. When they are in those displacement camps, who cares how they live? Some of them are even sexually molested because of the environment that they are in. There is air pollution. They are vulnerable. When there is air pollution in our informal settlement, look at Dandora. Recently, a research that was released showed Dandora as the highest pollution. It is not even supposed to be inhabited, you know, because of the level of pollution. That causes respiratory conditions. And this old person is unable to breathe, and they are fearing of dying. Social and economic vulnerability, limited access, dependence on caregivers. And these caregivers have moved away in search of jobs. Then the woman and the man is left alone. They are not even able to handle their nutritional levels. Social isolation. You are used to staying with your children. They have all grown up. You have been left alone. Maybe your partner also passes on. You are alone in this house. What is that doing to the mental health of this person? They have even other compounded inequalities that are gender disappropriate. Some of them have disabilities. Poverty is a challenge. And you look at these elderly people. This old man has to go and defend for his cows, probably because the sons, all of them, moved to the towns to look for jobs. They have likely lost a lot of their flock. What does it mean? Look at the young lady, at the bottom there. She has to carry that wound to think what she will eat for the day. There are some of them who are well cared for. What does this mean? Directly and indirectly, there is a lot of trauma that is leading to anxiety, grief. Somebody said, we lost some of us. What was done to heal the hearts of those people, the minds of those people after such kind of losses? Chronic stress, always worried about when it is a season of rain coming, they start saying, oh my God, we'll be flooded again. When it is time for drought, oh my God, the other drought that was there, we lost everything, I could not eat for her. This person is anxious, is worried. The Indian burden of mental health needs to be addressed. I want to say that. And how does it manifest? Panic attacks for some, feelings of sadness, hopelessness, mtu anakuwa hana energy, anatakiwa aamuke, saa zingine inambindi akae tu kwa nyumba. Emotional imbalance. If diagnosis was done, you find some of them have depression, some of them have anxiety disorders. Dementia, of course, comes in with age and other age-related conditions. So, how then can we have the older people participate? Because we know their value. We need to move them from a level of vulnerable groups to a people that actually are a resource. How can we do this? They are the knowledge holders. They are the knowledge holders. They have encountered climate change, climate extremes over and over again. They have stories they can tell us of what to do. So their indigenous knowledge is very, very important in climate dialogues. We need to strengthen community cohesion and intergenerational support for them so that they are not left vulnerable. We need to ensure that also them being custodians of culture, we can learn from them. What is it can we do differently as societies? And then gaps exist. As we said, our own people are not involved in designing climate policies. We need to bring them on the table. We need to bring in mental health in climate adaptation strategies. We need to be able to ensure that we have data that speaks to the mental health of our elderly. And some of these pathways that I mentioned, integrating mental health into climate action, strengthening community-based systems, so that then they can work within support networks. I'm so glad that I have had a lot of support networks for the elderly. Those are spaces that are really very, very important. Within those support networks, we need to think how we can strengthen our climate resilience. We need to have climate information that is meant with the whole people in mind, so that it is responsive to their needs. We need them to be sounded in the language they can understand, so that we can get off the technical language and bring them to a point that they can understand what we are saying as climate scientists. Policies on mainstreaming gender in climate is very, very important, I won't say. And I want to say that to some extent, even in initiatives of mitigation that are being undertaken, tree growing, these old people, some of them are the owners of the land, isn't it? They need to be involved in solutions that are climate related. This Matumbo you see here is a Maasai elder who was interpreting for us the forecast. This is knowledge that we need to tap from the elderly. When they look at, they slaughter the goat, they are able to read the Matumbo and tell you how the season will be. And I have been in 3 seasons that we have integrated seasonal forecast releases, where we have integrated indigenous knowledge. And I will tell you, the traditional science align with the scientific science. So we need to have the elderly participate in climate discourse. We need them to engage in tree growing. The picture there you see is an elderly woman we were participating with in Namanga Hills, planting trees in this season. So we need to engage them so that they can be part and parcel of what is happening. So as a call to action, I want to say that we need to move from viewing our own people as vulnerable. We need to get off the vulnerable narrative and look at how we can include them, how we can tap on what they have and the knowledge that they have, the experience that they have as pillars of resilience. We need to integrate aging and mental health into climate discourse. We need to fund community-led inclusive adaptation strategies. And I have heard some of us speak to that, strengthening systems so that then our own people can age gracefully, can be able to enjoy their life, and we can be able to benefit from them so that they don't feel like they do not belong, because it is their rights in a changing climate to live healthy and to live long. I am available for any questions, and I know that we can take this engagement to another level. Thank you. God bless you.
Asante sana, Dr. Pamela Kaiduru. We can do that challenge. Let's stand up, stand up, stand up. You know, sitting is the new smoking. So we would, you know, shake it, shake it, shake it. Stretch, stretch. Abujui kwasa kwasa. Let us stretch a little. Good to see everyone. Very good. Did you like the presentation? Wonderful. A round of applause again to Dr. Pamela Kaituru. We can have our seats, and now I want to invite our next speaker, who is Justus Ogando. Justus Ogando is an accomplished professional with a BCom in Management Science from the University of Nairobi and Operations and Supply Chain Management from the University of Liverpool. Justus has 26 years of experience, 15 in global health, market access and international development, 11 across diverse private sector industries, adept in stakeholder relations, introduction of new health products and technologies in sub-Saharan Africa, supply chain, health programming, market intel, analytics, and business planning. Justus Ogando is also the founder of Spectrum Africa. Karibu sana, Justus Ogando. Makofi kwake. Welcome.
10 minutes, okay. Thank you for that introduction. And I'm actually honored to be here and to learn. I think the constituency that I had never given a lot of attention to in my climate action is the elderly. And I'm so humbled to learn from you, Dr. Pamela, some of the insights you shared. What stood out for me, which is a struggle that I've always had with the scientific world, is the continuing vulnerability narrative. But we are not moving now to the next step of how do we give dignity a farming lifestyle. I sounded that message once, and I noticed that, yeah, we can continue talking about vulnerability. Ni kama tunaonea watu huruma, but we are not giving them the adaptation option. So thank you for that. With your permission, I took a screenshot of it. Yeah. So I'm actually challenged by the fact that when I'm seated on the policy side of things, a lot of attention has not been given to age-sensitive conversation. We have focused largely on maternal newborn health. We focused on the child. But then you start asking yourself the question, does it mean that there's a point in life where when somebody has crossed, their agenda doesn't matter? I was touched by the story of Mary, asante sana, and Anne for sharing that sometimes even the young people don't focus on you. They feel like your chapter is closed. And if there's anything we need to bring to the old people, it's definitely hope. We need to bring that hope, and we need to bring the dignity of farming lifestyle. And what I'm going to talk about is on heat stress. And why heat stress? I think we are focused on climate issues as if they are our normal way of living. Part of my life, I also grew up in the slums, although I didn't face those incidences of severe flooding, fires. But I grew up in the slums, and yeah, you need hope to get out of the environment. You need a lot of effort to get out of that environment. But it also matters the state of your mental health to be able to make those decisions. You need a resilient mental health. And that community support is one of those good things I think can help somebody to see life as positive, that what you are living is not the only life that exists. You can actually get better elsewhere. So I would encourage us to continue on the community's psychosocial support. It's good God created us with that DNA of social connection. Some of our diseases actually are because of loneliness. Yeah, some of our issues are because of that. And so why heat stress? I wanted to talk about heat stress because in our experience, we've noticed there's a gap in understanding of climate risks and how they affect health. We've seen that there's limitations in resilience because people don't relate health outcomes with climate risks. When you track heat, we have our normal, my Swahili is not good, but let me just explain. We have our normal ambient temperature where your organs can function in this temperature. Your digestion will function in this temperature. This is how you live. But that extreme heat brings certain complications. Some of the things we've seen even with scientific studies is people who work in industries that are labor intensive, like sugarcane harvesting, mining underground, they suffer chronic kidney disease. So kidney is one of the most sensitive organs when it comes to heat stress. And you'll only see this when you visit the Asshole counties and you're just doing your assessment and you ask somebody, have you ever checked your kidneys? Because now there's that swelling on the legs. Edema, sometimes it looks like edema. It actually starts showing that your kidney is not functioning. And heat causes chronic kidney disease. So if you are an HIV positive person who is taking that tenofovir, TDF, ARV, which also has a challenge with kidney, you can imagine the stress the kidney is going through. That you are living in a heat stress, and there's this drug that also can cause challenges, so you have to move to a better drug. So it gets complex. And the aging population faces that natural predisposition to chronic kidney disease. And so in our addressing climate impacts, we always look at so many compounding factors, not just singular, just compounding factors. It's like an ecosystem. How do we accommodate overlapping issues? How do we accommodate overlapping issues? So when you look at climate change, there are two variables we are interested in: rainfall and temperature, rising temperature. When you look at rising temperature, the hazards you find are extreme heat, drought, and strong winds. They happen in a cascade, like together, almost together. Now, when you're in extreme heat, we have scarcity of water. And you need that water for hydration. So you see how compounding it starts getting. You're facing extreme heat, but you don't have water, because our water sources have also run dry, or conflicts come up because we are fighting over water, or sanitation issues because now the water is contaminated. So it becomes so complex. And you have a question? Okay.
Sorry, as you grow older, in terms of thirst, you don't feel like drinking water. You have to force yourself to drink water. Literally force yourself.
I like this kind of class where I'm not the only one speaking. Thank you for that. Thank you. And yes, and I'm glad we can now relate. And so that is a challenge. You can never, these are the silent challenges that are not easy to document and track. So heat makes it worse. Heat now makes it worse. But you see, when you ask somebody like, oh, wazee wetu wa ukoo, wazazi wetu we grew up with this heat. It's our normal way of life. But what you don't know is how it is degenerating your internal organ. If you come to the maternal and newborn health, mother's health, you'll find that heat stress is responsible for premature birth, stillbirth, and low birth weight. Sometimes children without fully developed organs, because the mother was dehydrated. She was busy working, but she didn't know, and she was carrying a pregnancy. Now, imagine now the old age person who has mobility problems. Sometimes they're just fatigued, they can't walk. So that is the kind of situation we are looking at, and that's why we are trying to address that. And so even when we are looking at how houses are designed, how people think through the buildings they are living in, we try to look at a standard design, and we try to advise how can you make it better so that the indoor heating does not cause more health challenges. Because as we just build, you just find that you build, and because we don't have resources. But now that's the reality. We start looking at it. When I went to some counties, I found they just put a shade of makuti on top, and there are no walls, and they sleep. And it's a cooling system for them. But for me, I'm worried about security. And there is no security issue. They actually have found an adaptive way to live their lives. They just sleep as if they are sleeping outdoors. And you find an old person who is just okay. Because it is so hot where they are, building a house with walls will contain the heat. Heat is so bad that in a very extreme, arid county, if you build that standard design of buildings we build, and you put the way we put the ridge and the ceiling can collapse because of trapped heat. So you go to a health facility and you find the ceiling collapse because the heat needs an escape route and it can't find. So it just collapses. I know you didn't know that. So when you're building for old people, do you put a parapet with a vent, the raised wall that goes above the roof with a vent for heat to disappear? Or do you build the way we build our normal houses in highlands of Kericho and Kirinyaga? And then the heat gets trapped. So this person cannot sleep at night because heat is overwhelming them. And we just don't know the overtime effect it's having on their internal organs. So let us have that in mind when we are talking about the social welfare and safety nets for the old people. In our discussions with the various government agencies, social welfare, that kind of thinking is important. Don't just come and plant a tent. How will the ventilation work for this person when they're in that tent at night? Do we want to fast track their progression to exiting from this world, or do we want to contain them? The statistics that was there recently from one of the UN agencies was that because of his heat impact, people aged 65 years and above, that age group and above, deaths associated with people in that age group increased by more than 85% since 1990 to 2020. But nobody has been taking action on that. You know the way we take action on HIV, TB, malaria. This is a silent challenge that is not being tracked, but it was projected last month, but one. People in 65 years and above age group, the deaths in that cohort increased by 85% over a period of 20? Is it 30 years? 30 years, 85%. So these are silent killers that we need to now focus on. How do we manage heat stress for the population? So extreme heat is treated as normal. That's a challenge we have. And so awareness, when Francis extended the invitation and I got in touch with Sarah and McKenna, I was like, yeah, it's good to just come and share information. Awareness is important. Know your risk factors in life. As an old person, as a young person, know your risk factors and manage those risk factors. Sometimes we take too long to know our risk factors and how we can live. Don't do intense, like one of the things they say about exercises, there's this mentality created that if you work so hard to torture yourself, then you're fit. No. No. You just do walking is enough. Stroll is enough just to keep your body systems moving. So so in the awareness, we are trying to create something in terms of not treating this as normal, because it's quietly compromising our health outcomes, our productivity and performance. So some of the things we talk about is hydrate. She has just confirmed, as an old person, sometimes you have no desire to drink water. Now, hydrate. You need to keep that kidney working. You need to stop the calcification. They call it calcification, the kidney stones. They start forming when you're not hydrating. So hydrate.
Sorry. A lot of old elderly people complaining of backache, joints, they are aching.
Yeah.
Not drinking water.
No, keep that mic. I need you. Yeah. So, so you see, fatigue comes in. Heat stress will bring fatigue. And then sometimes you find care-seeking behavior is so poor. You really have to feel so sick to go to seek care. So already your mental state has been compromised. I think my talk and Dr. Pamela's talk are almost connected now. So you feel your attitude to care is also poor. You're like, hii ni ile ya kawaida nitapona tu. But in reality, it's degenerating and causing delay for your care seeking. And so heat shapes our lives, and we need to be aware so that we can prepare. Because I think most of the time is we are aware, yes, we've taken it as normal, but we are not prepared. So some of the preparations require behavior change. And when we talk about behavior change, we are looking at how do we address a perception of someone towards risk. How do we address your attitude towards risk? Among the elderly, household members and communities, stakeholders who are advocating for them. Can you change your daily schedule? If this is the routine you normally do, and you know in the month of February it's going to be hot, do you have to continue doing that activity the way you normally do it in a cold month? No. So can you change your schedule? I know when I was growing up, I used to see people who would say going to the farm is a must. Even on a hot month, even when it's drought, you still do the same routine. But you're not caring for your organs and your well-being. So can you change your schedule? Can you reduce workload that is heavy during extreme rising temperature? Do something light. If you are exercising intensely, now make it an easy social walk with a colleague. Don't go jogging crazy and exhausting yourself. Can you also increase, for those who are married, can spousal support be increased without stigma. Because one of the things I noticed in sharing of household chores, there are men who would say, my peer men will laugh at me if I'm seen helping my wife. So, culture, yeah. Yeah, some of the things Dr. Pamela was talking about, how culture has already inducted us. So can you offer that support without stigma? That okay, my spouse is not fit to do this, I can help in this area, like I can go fetch water if I'm fit, or I can go do this. So can we have that psychosocial support and spousal support, which is devoid of stigma? Can we also just try and stay hydrated and also avoid heavy clothing during heat? We need to just obey the weather sometimes. And I know this is not normal. And then can we also disseminate heat health messages that we get? Kenya Met shares a lot of information on forecasts. Sometimes it's 7 days in advance. And so can we just try and share that? I know we have WhatsApp group that we can use in a way in which we understand, a language we understand, because science also sometimes can be complex. And then can we have interventions that provide us the support network that is age specific? Yeah, so those are the things that we need to talk about. I'd wanted to go into detail to just explain to you some of the scenarios that we've encountered, if you could allow me as I wind up.
Pia wakati wowote wa matatizo wanawachwa nje. Sijui tutaweka mkakati gani, japo hili swali nimeuliza mahali ambapo sipo, lakini kuna watu ambao wanaweza kufikisha ujumbe mbele. Kisha la pili, kizazi cha sasa kinawapatia wazee majukumu ambayo si yao. Ninamaanisha nini? Mtu anakwenda anapata mtoto nje, anamrudisha kwa mzazi wake, ambaye tayari huyo mzazi pia yeye ana majukumu yake. Husisha navyo, maisha yao yanakuwa, wanaweza kuishi bora kwa muda mrefu zaidi. So hayo tu ndio ilikuwa mchango wangu, na pengine kama kulikuwa na maswali ndani yake, tuone vile ambavyo tunaweza kujumuisha ili kuboresha maisha ya wazee. Asanteni.
Asante, alafu nichukue ya Wamwere and then over to.
Swali yangu ni kwa daktari. Okay, mama yangu alikufa akiwa na 96 years, kama 3 years ago. Sasa alipofika 93 years alianza kusahau. Akikuwekea chakula anakuuliza tena baada ya dakika 5 kama akuwekea chakula. Ilifika mahali akaanza kukula chakula zaidi. Akiona mtu mgeni ameingia anawekewa, anasema yeye hajawekewa, unamwekea. Haya, kukiingia mgeni mwingine anaitisha pia, anasema hajapewa. Sasa unashindwa hiyo chakula ilikuwa inaenda wapi na haendi choo. Sasa mimi nilikuwa nauliza kidogo, tukaambiwa na daktari ati amegonjeka. Sasa nilikuwa nataka kujua hiyo dementia inaletwa na nini? Ni nini tunafaa kula ndio isitushike, ama ni nini tunafaa kuacha?
Thank you very much. A myriad of questions. Some you can address, some are out of the, but we will address all of them. So I want to hand it over to Henry.
Makofi kwa Makena. Yes, hatujambo tena. Tuwazima. Nafurahi kuwaona siku ya leo, na naamini kwamba tumeelimishwa zaidi, si ndio? Na tunazidi kuelimishwa kwa hayo maneno ya climate change na uzee. Yeah? Leo tumeambiwa na wataalamu hapa kwamba we are aging in the context of climate change. Na zaidi tumeambiwa si climate change peke yake, kuna heat. Kwanza, let me just confess that he has answered a question that I used to have some years ago when I was working for Helpage International. Tulikuwa na field office Lodwar, where every time I go to Lodwar, my legs will swell. And I used to wonder, what is the problem? My legs will be swelling. You know, and I'm a Christian, and I'm a pastor. So I used to bind. I used to help my leg. I bind the devil. Get out of my leg. Get out of my leg. Not knowing what the problem is until today. Now today I've got the answer. It was not the devil, but what? Heat. So sometimes we are told that we accuse the devil for nothing. Si ndivyo? Na tunalaumu shetani sengine bwana si ya ukweli. Shetani haiko karibu. Ni kwamba hatuna knowledge. Na tuliambiwa kwamba lack of knowledge. The Bible says that lack of knowledge. My people perish for lack of. And we are perishing sometimes not because there's a devil there. It's because we don't know what to do. But now we know what to do. Maybe he need to tell us. Let me begin with him. So my name is Henry Neondo, as we have been told. And I'm very glad to be here. But let me just begin with my colleague here, Ogando. What I was very keen to hear is, how do we mitigate death in that kind of a situation? We know that heat is there. Now he has told us another secret here that 85% of the people who are 65 years and above have died silently. We are blaming the devil wherever we are in our corners, okay, for having killed our parents, our brothers, prematurely, because we believe in Jesus Christ that we must live up to 70 years plus. How many believe like that? How many of us confess that I will not die young? That I can't die prematurely? But then somebody is dying at the age of 65, and we don't know the reason, but he has told us. But how do we mitigate that in the context of climate change? Maybe I can begin from there.
Thank you, moderator, for that question. And I want to answer your question in concert with the gentleman next to Sarah. I've forgotten his name. Murioki. Yes. Yes. He asked a question around are there things we should start doing as youths, like drinking water? So I think discipline only comes through habit. I don't know if it's the other way around, but if you do something regularly and it gets ingrained in you, it's a no-brainer. It's second nature. You'll just wake up and find yourself doing it. You will not need motivation to wake up. You don't need motivation to breathe. It's just second nature. So if you know the risk factors that you face as a person based on your age group, there are things you'll start doing as part and parcel of life. There are people who can tell you their stories why they do certain things because they had a come to Jesus moment or an accident that made them wake up. So they changed their whole lifestyle, or a medical situation that made them change their entire eating habits and food sources, you know. And I appreciate the story about Upcountry. Upcountry has a good quality of life. I think our urban centers have grown so rashly and not well planned, and it is another source of mental stress. We have accepted hustling as a mark of excellence. I'm hustling. Nafanya mbili tatu, you know, something like that. So we've accommodated all this. So I think to your question about climate effects, first of all, let's start with awareness. Awareness is very important. Information is actually available if you look for it. I'm actually a trained accountant, but I'm obsessed with learning the next available thing in the world. And that is how I got into sustainability and climate health. I realized climate is an ecosystem problem. You just need to connect the dots. If you go with one mindset that you're tackling, she said she was in meteorology, she switched, she did a diploma in something and then went to another. It's actually dot connecting. You just see the way God created the planet. It's an ecosystem that is self-reinforcing, self-propagating until we humans came in and altered the whole scheme. Started pursuing profit here, doing business without a conscience and extracting and accumulating waste. So you'll find sometimes, I also have questions I ask. This flooding in Nairobi, was it a rainfall flooding or a drainage problem? I've always asked myself these questions. And then I can't throw litter. I can't throw waste things through the window of my car. Even my wife cannot do that. We always remind ourselves, You do that, you'll complain government has abandoned us. But you've clogged the drainage. Yeah, whenever people throw things, I always ask them, do you know the multiplier effect of what you have done if you brought in 3 million people in Nairobi doing the same thing? We have clogged the drainage. And it comes back to bite us. So these are the things that we always try to address. That let us look at how we extract, how we dispose waste, and how we utilize resources, because they also add to the burden we are facing. And so as you walk through life, always try to look at it as a whole ecosystem, that what you do here will come back and affect you in another place and another place and another. Yeah. The world already challenges itself with the reality that we waste 40% of our food. 40% of food is wasted. Not post-harvest waste. Food you've served, things you've done that you don't need, you can't consume, but you've just glutton, you've just overserved and you can't finish. 40%. But the same world, we are also having hunger. So we are wasting and we are having hunger. So you try to look at the balance and you're like, maybe we have not connected the ecosystem. So let us work as a unified system that is well-oiled machine, care for each other, which is why I said our mission is a resilient society that cares, prepares, and protects. You can't do that if you don't have information. Awareness is important.
Asante sana. It's of your heart, God. Tumesikia hapo kwamba ni awareness. Ukitaka kuepukana na vifo vya joto, we aware. Na tumeelimishwa na tutazidi kuelimishana kwamba tuelewe kwamba kuna mambo. Kwanza unapotafuta hata nyumba kama mtu binafsi, pia ujiulize maswali kama hayo. Hii nyumba je? Unajua kama sisi tuko na ile uwezo mdogo, unatafuta nyumba mabati na the context of heat. What should we do? We have to ask ourselves, okay? Ndivyo. Sasa si kama nile kwa maswali mlikuwa tumeyatarajia, lakini japokuwa wameyazungumzia in their presentations, maybe I can just paraphrase some few things as we continue. Ndivyo. Now before I paraphrase, I hope we are all together, we're on the same page. Tunaelewa mambo ya climate change, tunaelewa mambo ya resilience, tunaelewa mambo ya adaptation. This is the first forum on climate change. So my forum on climate change kuna some few common terminologies that the experts can tell us. Adaptation, climate change, resilience, mitigation. Those are very common things. Let's be on the same page as we begin this. Who can tell us what those terminologies mean? Feel free to just say adaptation, defining them in a very layman language. Okay. Resilience, mitigation, but even the climate change, the term climate change. Okay, go ahead.
Climate change ningependa kusema ni mabadiliko tabia nchi, na inaangaliwa kama scientists tunasema climate change as occurred tukiangalia period ya 30 years. Climate ya area fulani inakuwa ni data ya 30 years ndio ina decide the climate of that place. Lakini tunakuwa na variability pia, ile mabadiliko ile inafanyika. Tuseme hii kama vile watu wanasema July ya last year ilikuwa baridi sana, lakini this year imekuwa joto. Hiyo sasa ndipo ndio tunaangalia, tunaona nini? Mambo ya variability. Tukiongea mambo ya adaptation, ni nini tunaweza fanya ndio tuweze kuishi vyema katika ile hali ya mabadiliko. Kama wanadamu ni nini yenye tunaweza fanya? Tukiongea mambo ya resilience, ni vipi tunaweza kubadilisha ama nini tunaweza fanya ndio tuweze kuishi katika ile hali ya mabadiliko. These terms are so much related, yani kuna vile zinashikana, lakini pia ni vizuri kuelewa tofauti yake. Katika mitigation ni nini tunaweza fanya? Kama tukisema upanzi wa miti ama ukuaji wa miti, tumetoka ile pahali ya kusema tupande miti, tunasema tukuze miti, kwa sababu ukipanda alafu ukate haijamachua haitasaidia, si ndio? Tukisema mambo ya climate smart agriculture, ni vipi tunaweza kufanya ukulima wetu uwe unastahimili either upanzi wa mimea ile inastahimili hiyo hewa tofauti. Kama sasa tunasema, unakumbuka wakati kulikuanga na vitu kama katumani, saa hii kuna variety mingi ya mimea ile tunapanda. Tukiangalia hata wanyama wale tunaweka mifugo, kuna mifugo ya aina tofauti kulingana na hali ya hanga ya area tofauti. Sawa? So haya ni mambo tunastahili tuelewe kidogo hapa na pale, ndio ukifanya mitigation unajua unafanya mitigation, ukifanya adaptation unajua unafanya nini? Adaptation. I know my colleague can add a bit.
Actually, I can't add because my Swahili is not as good. So but one of the things I wanted to mention on adaptation and resilience. So when you're adapting, you do something that does not cause you harm. So let me give you an example. We are told to plant trees. There are certain kinds of trees you need to plant. But it is very risky to plant eucalyptus in a drought-prone area. It will finish the underground water wells. That's why the High Environment Court decided in Nyahururu, no planting of eucalyptus near water bodies because it drains all the water. But it doesn't give you the shade you want. So the adaptation and resilience works like that. Do something that can come back to benefit you. But don't do something that will cause a damage. Another area of adaptation, we have created laws that allow use of electric motorbikes. But in terms of occupational health, these motorbikes don't have fire hydrants. The person riding the motorbike does not know how long he needs to put the battery on charge. So he might overcharge it, and then it might explode. So what is the mechanism for putting out this fire? Because our health system is modeled around health facility. This guy is in the field on the road. So how does he deal with that fire? You can't put out electric fire with water. So you need a gel. And those are the kinds of things. So you work through a solution of, I don't want, mitigation is sitaki ku emit more emission. So I avoid petrol motorbike. I buy electric. But now adaptation and resilience is, how do I ensure I am safe in using this motorbike? So that is how you look at the whole thing. Yeah, with examples.
Risk. Ni ile njambo inaweza fanyika. Ile inaweza kudhuru wewe, lakini inaweza fanyika. Yeah. Yeah, a potential danger. Yeah. Drought, heat, stress.
Over the years, what have you seen in terms of changing climate? You've been told over 30 years, we can predict that there's a change. Can you tell us that actually there has been a change over the last 30 years? And how has that change affected you at your personal level life?
Yeah, thank you. For those who came a bit late, my name is Anne Wanjiru from Madare, Older Persons Network. I'm a social worker and also a community development. I can say that initially, when Madare or the informal settlements were really growing up, we were growing up, it was not populated the way it is right now. Because the population have kept on increasing because of maybe the poverty level, and maybe people imagining that life in the city is maybe affordable. And that makes it that the space, maybe as I was growing, we had spaces, maybe where we could pray or even sit there. But then, as population kept on increasing, that means now the structures or the houses kept on increasing. So even, and in the informal settlement, there are a lot of issues on sewer lines, basic needs are not available. So now the space which was left, maybe where maybe we used maybe to have sewer system were available. That time, maybe the county could, or the city council that time could come and get the waste. This is some of the issues, some of the garbages or the waste which was dumped in the closed rivers, which are close to the informal settlements. So those ones were really affecting the drainage system. This is something which has been continuing because we didn't have the flooding of those years. It has just started when now the increase of the population. So you'll find that a lot of blockage, where the drainage, where the water is going, and also eating the space of the river. And I understand that anytime, wherever the water is passing, where there is a river, like now where people are constructing near the river trends, that when it rains, the water claims its space. So I think that's what has been causing, we say maybe the issue of, again, the climate change, because when we were expecting the rain, when we used to hear that July or maybe April is when the wrong is, everything changed. And again now when we talk of now the issue of the heat wave, the issue of the changing, again, the climate change, the increase of maybe, you see, long period of the heat weather, when we have now our summer. You see, the construction of structure, the houses in our informal settlements, the ventilation is very poor. Because now the space which was there, we have really used it because we also need some resources to increase our resources. And people are coming because of the issue of the basic needs in the rural areas and also looking for work. So you find that there is a risk of when there is a fire outbreak. And then also the materials, the iron sheets which has constructed, easily they get caught up with the fire when there's a fire outbreak. And then another big challenge in the informal settlements, which we have really been advocating for a very long time, is the issues of electricity, the Kenya Power. I know you people talk about Mulika Mwizi, and maybe in other areas you don't have the experience of the Mulika Mwizi. The connection, that is, in fact, most of the fire outbreaks in the informal settlements, you will find that after a lot of our inquiry, it ends up to be towards the illegal connection which is there. But I see that the Kenya Power we have been having a lot of negotiations that they have even reduced the deposit they ask for the connections. Another thing, the big issue in the informal settlements, even the last 30 years, even right now, is now, as I was saying, the accessibility of the drainage system. I remember, it was popular in the informal settlements, Kibera and Nairobi used to have the flying toilets. Sometimes around you can't understand what we mean by the flying toilets. It's because that we have like one toilet is supposed to be used by more than 200 people. Or even, let's say, minimum, even like 20 and 30. It is very early in the morning, you have woken up. Where are you going to go for the toilet? And then in security, one toilet for like 100 people. You can't walk there during the night. So what do you use? That is something you need to think about. And then that is what you are going to use that drainage for. So when it rains, again, it affects, you have now closed the drainage where it was supposed to go. And then the neglect of not having enough pure drainage system in the informal settlements. So that is the one which causes a lot of the blockages, a lot of now when the drought. But since now the coming up of the Green Army by the county, and also when you used to have the project, the former Waiguru, is that it has really opened up the areas, but we are still not yet there. But also something else I also want to say is that people who come in the informal settlements, I think, or even us now living in the informal settlement, we really lack a lot of information when it comes to climate change, climate reduction, disaster risk management. So those are some of the areas which are creating awareness. Again, like now you have talked about the heat. I'm telling you, we have been enjoying each other with my colleagues there, the elderly. Because anybody coming to the office, whether it is very cold outside, nasikia joto, fungueni dirisha. These are our young generations are there in the office, wanasema fungeni. You see now that gap. So the other thing, the next thing, here are doctors. either quick or not quick, unaenda hospitali. Mimi nasikia ile joto kali hujawahi elewa. Unapewa dawa. Another damage is added to us. So I know they're even shocked like me. There's something like now that you said that the death population, that the death has grown from 65 and above. Because there is a big issue. And you can imagine now wherever we are living, how is that temperature affecting us? But for us, what we usually do, we just end up going to the hospital to ask doctors about that issue. Mimi nasikia joto, naumwa na kichwa na nini. End up taking medication, which you are not supposed to do. You are supposed to take a lot of water and the rest. So this is a very big eye-opener. And I think this is some of the information, which is a bit urgent, which is supposed to be taken to the elderly, the older person, so that at least they're able now to know that they don't have to rush to see a doctor when now they heal that if the heat wave
so much.
is becoming too much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Maybe I can say something around climate change.
Yeah. Maybe as you're answering, I mean, as you're coming in, try to provide Wanjiru with a kind of a solution in terms of what kind of support can other people in that kind of situation where she has told us get from people like you.
Okay, great. I need to remind us that Africa is contributing very little to changing climate. Hii ni shinda ya watu huko nje. Ni vile inatufikia hapa. Kwa sababu nayo hewa haina mipaka. Kwa oceans huko, ile maji kubwa kubwa ikianza kupata njoto kwa sababu ya ile pollution inaendelea huko nje. Hiyo njoto ndio inatukujia wapi? Ndio inafanya hata hizi extremes zinakuwa mingi. Nasema hivi kusema ya kuwa tusinjilaumu sana, tuseme sisi ndio tumesababisha hii jambo. Lakini pia tusiketi chini, tuumie kwa jambo lenye tunaweza kujisaidia. Sawa sawa? Hata kama ni very little effort we can put, tuweze kuweka hiyo effort ndio tuweze kuadapt na to create resilience kati yetu. Sawa sawa? Kwa sababu mabadiliko inafanyikia pali mbali. Lakini niseme hivi, ukiangalia in our cities are getting hotter. Kwa nini? Pahali kulikuwa na miti, tumetoa miti ndio tupande manyumba. Unapata kulikuwa na forest, a forest as a way of calming the environment. The water, maji ile ya river, maji ya lakes, inahakikisha ya kuwa environment yetu inakuwa nini? Cool, it's an ecosystem. Tunaishi vizuri sote pamoja na milima yetu, na mito yetu, na miti yetu. Lakini kwa sababu ya uongezeko wa watu, the bunch in population, unaona ya kuwa pahali kulikuwa na misitu, ukiangalia sasa tuseme Nairobi. Mtu mwenye alikuja Nairobi in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, akikuja saa hii, anakuwa confused. Tuko na manyumba inafika huko. Environment imefanya nini? Imebadilika. Miti inatupatia oxygen. Si ndio? Inachukua ile carbon dioxide, sisi tunafanya nini? Tunatoa. Kukiwa hiyo circulation inakuwa affected, inakuwa shinda. Ile mijengo tumejenga, those buildings are not climate proof. Saa hii kuna technology imekuja ya kuhakikisha ya kuwa tunajenga mijengo ile iko climate proven. Materials zile zinaletwa. Hiyo ni discussion ya siku nyingine. Tujue ndio vile technology inatusaidia pia nini? Kuadopt. Tuseme ukitoka upande wa Ngong, uanze kuteremka tuanze Nairobi. By the time you are getting to around Kenyatta hapo, unagongwa na kihewa kingine, unasikia joto imeongezeka, si ndio? It is different when you are on this side than when you are on the other side. Tukiangalia mambo ya pollution, Nairobi City County has sensors in various places. Zile zina sense pahali kuko na pollution. Ukienda kwa website yao utapata. Wanakueleza Nairobi ni wapi kuko na pollution high at this time. And they are warning people to actually put on masks. If you look at places like Woodley, like Dandora and such areas. Kwa sababu ya pollution, which is also affecting climate. So tufanye nini? Tufanye nini? Unaona ile effort inafanywa ya kujaribu kugrow trees, kujaribu ku help our cities become more habitable. Those are the initiatives tunahitaji tufanye nini? Tuhusishe nazo hata wale watu wazee, kwa sababu wanaelewa kama ni miti tunapanda. Kuna mtu ukienda upande pale area ya Kajiado, haitasaidia huko na labda haitamea. That's why we work with the government agencies like Kenya Forest Services, the KFS. We work with the NEMA and other organizations kuhakikisha ya kwamba ile solutions tunapeana ni solution ile inaweza kufanyika wapi? Hiyo area. Sahi tunaambiwa watu wasibuild in riparian areas. Ndio tupunguze hii mambo ya flooding. Umeona njusi wanasema wanataka kuhamisha watu fulani Kibra, places like Gikomba, because of nearness to the water sources, isn't it? So these are some of the interventions that are being done, but then kwa sababu shinda nayo tuko nayo, au watu wakihamishwa wanapelekwa wapi? Wamehusishwa katika ile decision ya kuhama ndio waelewe. Somebody mentioned behavior change. To change behavior is not easy. I need to be able to understand. Hii change unataka nifanye, inanifaidi vipi? Ni vipi naweza kuifanya ndio pia mimi nikuwe nimehusika. Na nikisema hivyo niseme ile jambo Sawandi aliuliza. Ni vipi wasee wanaweza tuhusishwa kwa hii mambo ya climate change na adaptation na mitigation measures? The Constitution says everybody should be involved. Stakeholder engagement, isn't it? It is the right, and the whole people are stakeholders. Kwa hivyo ni constitutional right yako Sawandi na wale wazee wengine kuhusishwa kwa mikakati ile inatendeka katika kaunti zetu, katika wodi zetu, katika indara zetu. Kama indara ya Met, leo ndio tumekuwa semi autonomy agency, gazettement ilifanyika jana. Tukiangalia, tukienda kwa counties, Met services siko decentralized. We have county directors in every county. Sahi focused ikitolewa at the regional level. Regional level tunachukua all the IGAD countries. We come together and decide this using data, using satellite and all these things. We look at the focus and tell ourselves, this is how the regional focus will look like for the 11, 12 countries of IGAD. Then now those countries go, because all of them wako kwa hiyo mkutano. Inchi zote zinateremka chini kwa inchi yao. Wanaenda wanaangalia nationally kama Kenya. Forecast yetu ya hii season itakuwa namna gani? That is what we call National Climate Outlook Forum. Tunatoka hapo, county directors wote walimekuwa kwa hiyo mkutano. Wanateremka kwa county pale. Wanaita washikandau wote wa county. Wasee wanahitaji kujua kuna vikao kama hizo. Ndio wakuwe part and parcel of hizo vikao. Kwa kile kikao, all the stakeholders of the county come together with the Met Service and agriculture, forests, and disaster risk reduction, the communities, the farmers themselves. Wanasema sasa sisi county yetu, hii focus imesema huku juu, sisi itatuhusu aje. Ndio wachukue sasa watengeneze focus ya ward, up to the ward level. So ukiparticipate kwa hiyo, utaweza kutoa maoni yako. Na ni haki yako kama mwana Kenya kuparticipate. Sawa sawa?
Sawa daktari, kidogo tu interrupt hapo. Ningependa kujua ni njia gani wazee at that sub county ama county level wanaweza kuhusishwa. Sababu sangine wao Met wanafanya nini? Wanaalika watu wao, wanaalika pengine mtu agriculture, mtu wa maji. Wazee watapataje platform? Which is the entry point for them?
Great. Even as I wait for him to respond, ningetaka kusema hivi, nimesikia kwanza kuna vikundi ya wazee. Si ndio kweli? na through our chiefs and administrative organs. Those are entry points. Kwa sababu administrators are involved, the chiefs are involved, groups are involved. I have been participating in Kajiado, Taveta, and other places. Na unapata wazee, vijana, wamama, gender approach to climate interventions. And the gender includes elderly, the youth, the pastoralists, all the value chains are supposed to be able to participate. But let me ask my friend to add
somebody
to this.
Kwa wazee, wangapi washaki participate in that kind of forum? Michael, you want to add something? Okay, let me give you my mic.
I want to say this. As you are saying, it is very right. But the older people themselves have to claim their own space. I am right now in the court users committees of Gatundu, but I had to claim my space. That these are cases of older people that are being delayed here. We need somebody who can actually take the responsibility of asking, why is this old man come here 5 years because of a small case? Are you waiting for them to die so that you can pass the ruling? So we need to look to take our own space. Yeah.
I like that. In 2015, Mama Esther said something. Nothing for us without us. That was a quote I got from her in 2015 when we are going to visit, is it Anwar Guru's office? And we are saying SDG. Yes, you participated in that kind of forum before. And advise the elders how you entered there as a youth.
I mean, we almost suffer the same, reason. We are at a sisi saa zingine tunatengwa. But one thing I want to advise also is that, especially the elder persons groups, fight for public participation to be digitized. You'll say that old people don't access internet and all that. We can always have reasons, but angalia ni wazee wangapi wako na simu digital hapa. Si ni wengi? Wangapi online wako nayo? So let's not look for reasons. Let's fight. I was training the members of County Assembly in Nairobi. We were scrutinizing the public participation law, post-registrative scrutiny. And elder people, youth, and PWDs said why they cannot, hawawezi kwenda kwa hizo physical venues wakati wanafanya kazi. Na wazee nao wakasema kutembea kwenda kwa hizo place ni refu. Let us fight for the public participation to be digitized so that ikuwe online, virtual.
Hii ni kwa Dr. Pamela. Umetu wanatoa reports, lakini hamuongei lugha ile tunaelewa. Mnaandika lugha za ajabu 95 millimeters nini. Sasa hizo vitu tutaelewa aje ndio tuweze kufuatilia jinsi mnavyosema.
Thank you. I just want a quick one. When we talk about senior citizen, we need to be very keen and we need to be very cautious. That's why we talk about intergenerational integration. There's a disconnect. I have a brother here. There's a disconnect between the young generation and the old generation on the issue that we are discussing also, including that. So what I want my brother to know, on the issue of older person saying they cannot join the public participation, who are these older persons we are targeting? That's just a minute. Who are these older persons we are targeting? When you talk about language, what language are we using in the public participation? Need to be very important because we are targeting the most vulnerable older persons and who can be the spokesperson for this most vulnerable. Okay?
That's Didan, my friend from Kibera Daycare. But we come in a bit late. They said, remove the word vulnerable. We want to see older people who have solutions. Just have them continue.
I just want to say that as Mathare older persons network in Mathare, we really advocate even in our meetings for older persons to attend public participation, to claim the space. I said some of them are now sitting in the peace committees And recently, like the day before yesterday, is it Wamwere? When were we attending the meeting for the land commission because of the riparian land where they want discussing about the 30 meters? We, for ourselves in Mother, we make sure we are represented. Us who are online, we make sure that we invite and alert all our other older persons who are able to go there. The only thing I want to say is that the way you have explained it, about the reason why maybe the government is reclaiming now the riparian land, because maybe to plant the trees, because of now the way you are saying the heat wave and the changes in the environment, they really need, when they are coming to claim that land, to explain so that we can see the importance. That the way you talked, that sometimes we may end up wearing masks in areas where we are going. They really want to come and show why are they reclaiming that land. It's also that we can understand, even people in the informal settlements, it is for our benefits. Because if they don't do that, and the environment and the heat heats up, we are going to get other underlying conditions. It's very important. I think they need also to understand.
Okay. So let me not get into the public participation because that's not my space. But I want to bring up a statement that Dr. Pamela had projected here. Let us switch from vulnerability narratives. Now, if we switch from vulnerability narratives, can we get into dignity lifestyles for the old people? Go to Google Play Store if you have a smartphone. Look for an app called AirQo. AirQo. Download it. It will connect you, or go to the website of Nairobi City County. You will find the air quality monitoring. If you are a person with underlying conditions, respiratory conditions, and you're going to an area that has been marked a different color code, and it's already indicated there, wear a mask. If you have TB, you have lower respiratory infection, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, wear a mask. CBD is one of those areas that has high pollution, which is why they keep on trying to redirect traffic, because that's the biggest emitting sector. So if you're a person with a respiratory challenge, wear a mask. It's very easy, and the app is on Play Store, and the information is there, and the monitors are all over. And you can see Nairobi is green up to 5:36. From 6:30, it changes to yellow. Humans have woken up. Then it goes to brown. Humans are now busy. And it actually shows you that trend. So this is information at your fingertip. 2, every county, the climate forecasts and information has been decentralized. Like she has confirmed, every county has a county director. They actually receive weekly forecast 7 days in advance for your county. I am a member of one of the ASOL counties. I will not give you the name, but because I was doing a project there, and I get the updates up to a few minutes ago. I was just checking as she was talking. The updates come every week in advance, 7 days. They also give you the March, April, May. They give you the OND of October, November, December. You can actually see, what impressed me most is Kenya Meteorology does work. It is so exact that there was a day I actually drove to go and test that it's going to rain. And it rained the way the forecast was showing. You actually get information there. Then 2, if it is complex for you to understand, the group I joined was by invitation. Currently it has about 876 members. It's called Weatherwise for the county. You can see even the most illiterate woman in that group will ask, what does it mean? Should I move up the hill? And she'll be told, no, this is short rains, just stay there. Or should I plant? No, this is short rains, don't plant. Wait, we will tell you about long rains. Or should I start stocking on silage and hay for my cattle? Start stocking, drought is coming. And so they interpret it for you. Even the county director can explain it to you if you ask the question. And I've liked the fact that it includes everyone. Former senators, former governor, MPs, MCA, the traditional woman, a trader. an illiterate person. We are all there. I'm just a silent member, and I always get impressed how information can help us make conscious choices.
Thank you, Gando. Let me just pause a bit. Tell us how to get there, and is it in every county? And how
I don't know about Nairobi.
OP associations be part of that? Yeah, she
Okay.
can actually assist.
Okay, in every county, we have forums that are created by the county director of meteorology. WhatsApp groups, you find that some counties have thousands of people. And out of those people, they also belong to other groups. So you get the forecast. If you cannot bring in your people, then you disseminate it to others. And whichever county you are in today, if you want me to introduce you to your county director, please let me know, and you'll be handed to that forum. And when you get that information, sambaza kwa watu wale wengine. Sawa sawa? So the forums are open. If as old people, tungependa kutembelea meteorological department pale, kama tunaweza kuwa coordinated na Makena and her team, we can plan a day, tukutane pale na tusome hiyo mambo yote. I will arrange for it if you want it done. So that hata wao waende waelewe, old persons need this forecast, isn't it? And how do we want it packaged for ourselves? What are our needs? How can we participate? I will be able to do that. In terms of interpreting the forecast, tuko na local media. Every county director works na local media. Wale wanahabari wa hiyo county, vernacular speaking media. Wakiwa kwa ile kikao, wana translate hiyo forecast to the local language. Na inasambazwa. Ukisikiza radio ya Kisii, wanaweka weather ni Kisii. Ukisikiza ya Meru, wanaweka Kimeru. Ya Luya, wanaweka Kiluya. Wote wanaweka hivyo. Tumefika pahali in Garissa recently, translate forecast into Braille. Kwa sababu sasa tunaangalia people living with various forms of disability. Wale walemavu wa macho, hawawezi kuona wasome kivyao. Imetranslatiwa in Braille. Vile ikitolewa inawekwa into their Braille language. Ndio pia wao wasitolewe nje, kwa sababu ni haki yao kupata utabiri wa hali ya hewa. Sawa sawa?
Pamoja hapo sio? Okay, in summaries, let me just summarize up to this point what they have said. The key things that we need to take away. Namba moja ni kwamba wazee watakana wawe ndani ya forums za weather forecast. Si ndivyo? Hiyo ni moja. Ya pili, wamesema ni kwamba wazee watafute their own space in that forum. Si kupata weather peke yake forecast, pia nyinyi ndani ya hiyo discussions. Wanapofanya forecasting mweko pale mko na I don't know Kanyingi mtangia namna gani as an OPA ama as individuals. Hapo mtaamua wenyewe, si ndio? Both. Okay. Yeah. As an OPA. Others. So you have to fight for the space. 1, 2, get into the weather focus at the county level. Na amesema vizuri kwamba ziko translated, Tom. Okay? So don't fear about the languages issues. Now maybe what they need to tell us ni, okay, in terms of what they've discussed about the heat. Now tunajua vile investors, when they come to our estate, they build their own houses without consulting us. What should we do so that we tackle the issue of heat within the house? And I mean, look at it from there. How can they come into the space where they determine how houses should be constructed?
Okay, we haven't gotten into the private sector space, but what we are working right now is on the public sector space. We are looking at health facilities and hospitals, how they are designed, because sometimes the designs can be standard, the ones that are approved as standard, then you find this one cannot work in this area. For flooding, we didn't need normal foundation, we needed suspended foundation, floating foundation. So these are now being put in a guideline. They are yet to be launched, but we've finished the assessment where we are now showcasing these are the risks this region faces. These are the kind of the building codes, standard methods of measurements that should be used in designing. So if you're in a heat stress environment, the distance from the foundation slab to the beam should be minimum 3 meters. So don't build anything lower than that. But you see, now it depends on private sector. How do fundis do this? If they are going to cut corners, it's you who is the contractor. You have to now, you are the owner of the house, you have to now prevail and say, for a heat stress environment, minimum from slab, a foundation to beam, 3 meters. Then I give room for the ridge. And if I'm in another area and I'm living in a house where the distance height from the foundation to beam is 2, my height is 2, then it's a problem to me. I'm the one who allowed it. So it takes effort for you to also enforce your conditions that, look, I'm paying, or this is the house I want. Even if you're doing charity to me, I have a dignity. I have a dignity. Give me the standard measurement. It's called SMM, Standard Methods of Measurement. Okay. Give me the standard measure for a house in a hot environment with proper ventilation that I can live in.
So that's you engage in the county government, I think, or who are these, the planners?
The planners are the biggest, yeah.
Are they? Yeah. Okay.
In KMD.
Yeah.
For building, because that will determine where the materials they will use. It will determine where the windows will face. It will determine very many things. Okay. So the construction companies are part of the sectors that are receiving our forecast. But of course, many buildings have already been built, isn't it? It's the modern ones that now are responsive to climate. Yeah. So when you are building yours, please seek to get the climate information so that you can be able to use facilities that are useful. I want to respond to a question that was asked so that we don't lose it. Mambo ya mental health. Sarah aliuliza. Tukiangalia kwa counties saa hii, tuko na watu wanaitwa health champions. They used to be CHPs, isn't it? Yeah. Community health champions or promoters. Those are the people now we are utilizing and telling the county governments. Hawa watu wafundishwe mafundisho kidogo ya ku-identify distress. Kwa sababu wao ndio wanaenda kwa vijiji, si ndio? So wanaenda mpaka kwa manyumba. Wanakuja kwenu ama ni mimi naongea? Wanafika? The health champions. Wanafikanga, si ndio? Sasa wakiwa na ujuzi kidogo ya kuweza kuangalia na kuuliza, wajue kama mtu akona anxiety, hopeless, sadness, helplessness. Wakishajua ku-identify hizo vitu, hawana uwezo ya kufanya counseling kwa sababu wao hajafundishwa kama washauri. Lakini wakipewa ile basic information, sasa alafu kuna hiyo county inasema tuna referral hospital pahali kuko na washauri. Ukipata mtu kama huyo kwa familia, kwa household, tuma yeye referral kwa kituo fulani pahali kuko na mwana saikolojia na kuko na psychiatrists. Kwa sababu gani? Prevention is better than cure. Tukiweza kuzuia magonjwa ya akili, kama kuna magonjwa ya kushinda sana kutibu, ni magonjwa ya akili. Imagine sisi kama wana saikolojia tunaiita kidonda ya brain, isn't it? It is a mental, it's a disease. It is a wound yenye watu hawaoni. Wewe uko na kidonda, matendo tu ndio inaonekana. Vile unapigana na watu, ulevi ile unatumia, the way the moons are swinging. Saa hii you are happy, another moment hutaki kuona mtu yoyote. Wakati mwingine unaruka, wakati mwingine unajipata unajificha, you are so isolated. These are the signs we see. Magonjwa ya hapa na pale. Mama, baba, huo mgongo inauma, miguu magoti inauma, kichwa, sijui mapua. Na hii yote, it is some mental health issues that are mimicking physical illnesses. Kwa hivyo tukiwa na wanasaikolojia wengi, tutaweza kuzuia. Tutaweza kuona mapema ya kuwa kuna mtu ana gravitate towards developing a mental illness. Na huyo mtu anasaidiwa. Kwa sababu kutibu ni shinda. Sawa sawa?
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Let me just follow up with a question about from the recent floods in Mathare. Sister Wanjiru Mwere and maybe a brother here, and related to the mental issue. We know that people lost their furniture, their utensils, what, and their houses. Now, how were the mental issues addressed in that situation? Maybe you can start to Wanjiru.
Yeah, thank you. When it comes to issues of mental health, as you in disaster, majority of us, even those who said there, we are community health promoters, because initially we are the ones who advocated for them, so we follow it up a lot. Is that and the first responders are the CHPs. The majority, because I remember the Aga Khan, especially in Mathare Hospital, came and trained a few of us, though I didn't attend, but my colleagues attended some few months ago last year. And we also have other several organizations like Plan International Red Cross, who are really doing a lot on really giving awareness to the mental health issues. So we are the CHPs are the first responders, and as you are saying, we do they do referrals, and we thank the county government because even referrals now are made a bit easier because all the CHPs were provided by Android phones, where they just have, and each CHP has a monitor 100 households, and they're in form of units. So once you identify such a case, you pass it to the chair of the unit, and then immediately you do a referral. But I think what is more needed is that that training, at least awareness, especially as psychologists, keeping on and also being updated on different issues which are coming up in, like now the issue of which I'm really much concerned about is what you said about the issue of heat wave, wearing masks, because you can see like when there is a fire outbreak, you'll never find somebody with a mask, and you know the air which is there. And that is where we continue living, and then a lot of cases of respiratory are in the increase in the informal settlements and where there are fire outbreaks. So we do try, do the referrals, but I think there is a lot of urgent need. And then we also find that in some of our health facilities, sometimes even those who are there, they are not trained, and so we lack those people in their facilities. And this is something maybe at your level, maybe Doc, you need to work on it so that the county can increase. And also I think the CHPs themselves, they really need a lot of the psychosocial support because they really face a lot, but they don't get, somebody don't recognize them even when they are going. You can imagine you go there, you find people who are already burnt into ashes, and you are there now to support now the relative or people around there with the support, but you yourself, you are already overdone. I think that is something maybe can be come up a program by the county so that the CHPs can be part of that area. We do try. The other issue which is now, you talked about, even I'm supposed to see you after this, we talked about the drug issue. Because of a lot of stress, the high economic poverty level which is there, there's an increase especially in the young generation who are now on drug addict. And you know there are a lot of drugs coming in. I happen to see it one of the organizations in Mathare which deals with the drug, substance abuse and prevention. And to our surprise is that even now the elderly are increasing in numbers because of the challenges they are facing, especially now the flooding, the fire outbreaks, the way you are asking all your things in the house are gone, what next? So you just see where you are going to get the next comfort. Okay. Your neighborhood there is the substance. And then you know once you take the substance.
I know we have some questions from the online people. Let me just give Dr. 1 minute to respond to what you have raised, and then we give space to the people who are online.
Okay, maybe for time, I want to appreciate the fact that counseling is not very taken up as a service, but that is what tunajaribu kujenga sana. Na saa hii inchi yetu iko na counselors and psychologists board, just kama vile tunakuanga na board ya engineers, board ya mandaktari. Tuko sasa na board ya counselors and psychologists that was inaugurated. Na saa hii wana regulate, wanahakikisha ya kuwa wana register all the counselors and psychologists in the country. Kwa sababu gani tunafanya hivyo? Kwa sababu mtu mwenye hajatrainiwa kusupport a client atamuharibu huyo client. They will mess the client. You start judging them because you are not trained, you are not certified to offer that service. So hata ukienda kuona mwana psychology wowote, tafadhali jaribu uulize yeye namba yake ya bond ni gani. Kwa sababu ukidhuriwa uko na pahali ya kurudi. Tuweze ku-eliminate quacks in the midst of us. Wenye wanasema wana offer psychological services na our office. Let us work with associations. I heard the ISAP, which is a global network of psychologists globally. I heard the Kenyan chapter. Tuko na wana psycholojia aina mingi. Ni vizuri to work na wao as organizations working with the owned people so that they can be able to offer that service to us. And I will be able to link us for those who are interested in the linkage.
Thank you. Who is helping us with the questions online? Read them out for panels to respond to them. Yeah.
Very interesting conversation, I must say. So we have a comment online from Tino. Tino said, climate change related emergencies invariably lead to displacements or population movements. However, when assessments are done to determine people in need, the information disaggregates children and includes older persons as adults. We need to purposefully distinguish older persons from adults that help us determine if the older persons have been left behind, for instance, in floods, and to plan for them accordingly.
That's a comment.
Yes, that's a comment.
Okay.
And then Women for Dementia Africa said, please ask the gentleman sharing the app for weather forecast. Women for
What's the
Dementia
question?
Africa, would you like to unmute and ask the question? Because it seems like it's a statement. Yes.
Okay, can you respond to the question or
yes,
one more?
Just hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Yes, just. Can you speak again?
This is Monica
Yes.
Kinyanjui.
Yes.
There's
Hi,
a
Monica,
gentleman
go
who
ahead.
shared an app. Good afternoon. Beautiful conversation happening there. Yeah, so I think there was a conversation, there was an app that was given of how to measure the Nairobi County, the variance of the different, that app, whatever it is. I don't know if you mentioned Spotify, and whoever is behind it, congratulations. I didn't know there were things like that. So can you please reshare it, even you can type it, so that we can make use of it.
Yeah, it's going to spell it out.
All right, thank you.
Thank
also,
you.
You had also written that WFDA, that is Women for Dementia Africa, has trained CHP on signs of dementia with County Tracker, Mathare Network of Older Persons.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Even Anne can attest there that we spent a few days and we set up support groups of people living in dementia in Mathare, and we have some in Kayole. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Before we move into the room, I'd like to find out whether anyone else has a question online. Sorry. I think we can proceed.
Okay. Maybe what you need to just spell it out, eh?
So it's not the app for weather forecast. It's an app for air quality monitoring. And you can also, it's all there. The YouTube demo is there by Nairobi County government, but the app itself is AirQo, AirQo, AirQo. And you can find it on Play Store as an app. Then install it. Or you can also visit the website of Nairobi County Government, where it also posts, I think they have a link where it posts live feeds on the quality based on the monitors they are put around the city. Yeah.
Download the faster. There's a weather forecast app also that will give you, when you enter your location, it will give you the forecast for your location, so that also you don't get stranded. Usitoke bila mwavuli uende unyeshewe kwa sababu uko unajua, sawa? Pia hiyo inaitwa Faster, FASTA. It's also on the Play Store, I think. Yeah, I think I will be able to share it. It's an app for KMD that also you can be able to get your own forecast for the location that you are in. Yeah.
Thank you. So as you're winding down, let me give 2 opportunities or 3. One for the youth, one older lady, one older man. 3 questions to the panel, and then the panel will, as they're answering, they'll be also be giving us their final words. So let me start with the youth first.
Okay. My name is Maureen Kivuti, once again working with the CPF Group Foundation. Wacha niseme shukurani sana kwa moderator kwa sababu ulibadilisha lugha, na umuhimu ya kubadilisha lugha kama kwa communication, unajua tunasemanga keep it simple, kwa sababu mzee huwezi ukamwongelesha lugha ambayo ina jargons kubwa au unasema mambo ambayo ni makubwa ambayo haelewi. Kwangu mimi nashukuru kwa hii session, na ningependa, niliwaambia leo ni siku ya solution. So ningependa kupropose a collaboration na Dr. Pamela na Mr. Justice. Kwa nini? Katika shirika letu la CPF tuko katika county zote 47 kwa sababu tumezaliwa kutoka shirika la pension. Na kwa mwezi wa Februari na mwezi wa August huwa tunapata wazee ambao wanakuja kuweka vidole ili waweze kuaccess pension yao. So tukaweza kupata information kama hii. Kama kolegi wangu leo amekuja kutoka Kisumu. So tukiweza kupata hii information ambayo unaambia wazee waende Play Store na mambo kama hayo, katika shirika letu tunaweza kuifanya iwe rahisi wao kuelewa. Na jambo lingine ambalo limefanya tukakuwa successful katika kuwalipa malipo yao ya uzeeni ni wakati tunaona mzee hajakuja katika shirika letu, tuko na teams ambazo zinaenda chini mashinani, sehemu ambayo wazee wako, na nadhania ujumbe ambao mnajaribu kupitisha pia itawezekana kufaulu kwa njia hiyo. Ya pili, katika shirika letu pia tuko very tunapenda kufanya kazi na jamii. Sisi ambao tuko katika hii eneo, sisi wote ni watu ambao tumesoma, naweza tuita elite. Na mimi wanaambia rafiki zangu kwa Kiingereza is not a measure of intelligence, yani haionyeshi ya kwamba umesoma. Sasa kwa sisi ambao tuko kwa hii eneo, tunaelewa jambo ambalo tunasema. Lakini wale ambao wako pale, hapa tutasema kila kitu ambayo ni mzuri. Tutapitisha masuala yote, lakini kuna mzee ambaye hajui tuko hapa leo na hajui mambo yote ambayo tunazungumzia. Na ya mwisho, kama kijana ambaye anapigania called an intergenerational champion wa masuala ya wazee, katika shirika letu bado tuna over 250 young people ambao wamesoma na wako diverse. Kwa kila branch kuko na young people. Tukaweza kushirikiana na nyinyi na tukaweza kupata a training kuhusu masuala haya ambao mnazungumzia. Itakuwa rahisi sana kuungana pamoja na CHP, community health promoters na sisi kuweza kueneza hizi the messages au masuala haya ambayo tunataka kuaddress down to the grassroots. Asanteni sana.
Okay. Just meet McKenna, she'll organize everything, coordinate everything. Okay. Next person is Zawadi. Zawadi was my estate mate many years ago. I was in primary school when I used to see him play football. Yeah, I'm now confused. He has remained the same. When he was a footballer, he's a very good footballer. Changamwe Mombasa. That's where I grew up.
Langu ni ombi kwa vijana. Msione wazee kama tishio, bali kitu ambacho kinahitajika ni kufanya kazi pamoja na wazee. muko na ujuzi ambao wazee hawana na wazee wako na ujuzi ambao hawana. Mkishirikiana mtafanya maisha kuwa bora kwa jamii zote na kuishi kwa amani. Asante. Hilo tu ndio ombi langu.
So can I go on now?
Okay. That's a discussion about our lunch. Okay, brother.
Okay.
Michael.
It's my space now.
Yes.
I just wanted, mama aliuliza swali la dementia na sitaki lipotee. Akasema mama yake alikuwa anakula sana and she doesn't know how she can avoid that. Actually, I work with the people with dementia right in the grassroots. And one of the dementia conditions is the frontotemporal dementia. Hiyo ni kizungu mingi sana ambayo inaharibu hapa katikati. Hapa kuna kitu tunaita hypothalamus, kuna kitu tunaita satiety center, ile chembe ambayo inakwambia sasa umetosheka. Yako ikiharibika, neurons zake zikiharibika, sasa utaendelea kula, ama inaharibika inakuonyesha umeshiba. Unaona watu wengine wako na dementia wamekataa chakula. Kwa hivyo hakuna njia ya kutibu hiyo, lakini kile unaweza fanya kuwa na rutini ya kula, mnakula pamoja wote, ili kusije mtu wakati amekula mwingine anakuja anawekewa anasema kwa nini uniwacha.
Okay.
Uwe na some behavior within the house. The other one is I don't want to leave this out. There was the Africa, there was the Africa Climate Summit.
Mm-hmm.
You were there. I was there. There is a resolution. The UN Human Rights Council resolution number 44/7 of 2020. I realized that issues of climate change and older people, that is anchored there, were not mentioned anywhere. So for this team, is a call that from today we know there is a resolution, which was actually passed on 16th July 2020. I was part of it. And we need to highlight that this resolution talks about older people and climate change.
Wonderful.
So we need to highlight that as we have done with the MIPA and the rest.
That's an action point. That's an action point that from this meeting we have to highlight that resolution.
Yeah.
Give Amira, I can see
Thank you.
she's yeah.
Thank you very much. My complaint or compliment is one. I'm appealing. The climate change has brought in a lot of problems to our older people because they don't understand. The understanding, you said that is misunderstanding. The weather comes, it is too hot, and all of a sudden it changes to cold. Now, my appeal is that, is it possible for you people who are on the higher level to come down to the ground to talk to our people, to talk to them on the very, very ground so that they understand what changes they can make when they see such things happening into their lives?
Thank you. That's why this forum is there. McKenna, you've noted that as an action point, that in the OPA meetings, at least there should be something about climate change. Yeah.
It affects me so much because I don't know what to put on, where to go when I'm like this.
Yeah.
So please come to the ground.
Wonderful.
Here I'm a little better, but there are people who do not really understand what climate change is.
Wonderful.
Because it has changed them from where they used to know what they were doing
to
what was happening when they were younger than what is happening to them now.
Okay.
They just don't know. It just comes like that and they are amazed.
Yeah.
They are left just floating in the air. Please do that.
Perfect. It's an action point taken. Maybe there's something that caught your attention from what they were talking or commenting or asking. Feel free to answer or respond as well as giving your final remarks.
Thank you. Maybe something I even shared with McKenna yesterday when she visited our office, that there is need to have the intergenerational forum. Just the way you hear my colleague there saying that the Gen Z or the generation are seeing as if the older persons are not giving them space. But we encourage them also to create their spaces because that's how we started. You can't come to claim the space which I'm occupying. We are here to mentor you, the younger generation, so that at least we can now pass now the mantle to you. But you can't just come before understanding where we are coming from and we just give you the space. So I think it is very important, McKenna and the team and other organizations which are here, to go back and have a lot of intergenerational forum so that at least we're able to understand each other and work together so that nobody feels that if I give this space to this young person or if I give this space to an older person, it's a threat. The other thing is the issue, as I've said, I think we need to have a lot of these forums back at the grassroots level, which also this should also involve like the county, the weather forecast people, so that at least, and then when you are there, use the language which is understandable to us all. So that at least even if we read in these things, we can see that I remember this and that. That is very important. But we really appreciate for the recognition of being invited here. And I think now we can see that at least even the elderly are being given the platforms like this one. Thank you.
Great. I just want to take this opportunity to remind us and to applaud the efforts that are being made at all levels. To remind us it's our constitutional right to get the climate information. To remind us that we have to engage deliberately because we have the solutions. We have a contribution to make in the climate dialogue. To say that governments at all levels need to strengthen systems around climate action with older persons in mind so that we can be able to respond to the needs of the older people. And in conclusion, say that there is no health without mental health. The mental health of everyone matters. Your health and well-being is critical for quality life. So as a older person, be aware of where you are in terms of health and wellness. Be aware of your need. Allow yourself to speak about what concerns you. Silence is not an answer. Let us engage in all levels, in our small groups, with our friends. Why is it important? Suicidality is also on the increase, and suicidal ideations, even among the old people. Some of them do this by refusing to take the medication for the chronic illnesses that they have already been diagnosed with. Why? Because they are telling themselves, if I stop taking, I will die. So it's like as having suicidal ideations, but not having the strength to do it lethally, but you are doing it small. So these frustrations that are making us do this, we need to be able to address them. We need to engage at the community level. We need to engage with organizations, especially the organizations of the elderly. Let us please factor aspects of health and well-being, mental health. Let us factor climate information in our interventions. And I speak this from an aspect of data. This is a research that we did in 2025 as ACRCC in sub-Saharan Africa. Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia representing sub-Saharan Africa, looking at the relationship between climate change, food insecurity, and mental health. And it speaks to a very close relationship that we need to have interventions that are addressing these issues. I wish us well, and I pray that we'll scale up this conversation, and we are available to offer the support that we can. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So your final,
Final
word.
word.
Yeah. You can respond to any comment they have
Thank
given
you.
or your final word. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thanks to the organizers for putting together this session, being my first to talk to a unique group, and also being their first to learn about the climate health nexus, which is complex. So thank you for that, and thanks for the discussions we've had. It has made me also question how low a policymaker can come to speak in a language that is relatable. That is now a lesson I'm carrying with me. I did Swahili in school, but I need to go ask for my money back. I like your Swahili. Yeah, so need to come down to your level, or the level of the affected, to be able to speak in a way we can relate. So that's a lesson we need to carry. Probably somebody here, an organization here, can start thinking through developing a climate literacy dictionary that can translate into languages, even if it is a digital tool like they did for Braille, something that can translate in a language we can converse in. That would be very helpful. Then 3, I'm leaving you with the message: understand your realities and manage your risk factors based on that reality. Right now, if we start talking about heat stress, you'll realize we'll be talking about drought and also strong winds. And we know during strong winds, there is a lot of dust, and a lot of respiratory cases are reported around that time. You know, drought also brings challenges. If you are from a pastoral community and your cows are killed by drought, you may not expose it, but your mental suicidal tendencies will increase, because you know cows are also a mark of wealth in some communities. So if I don't feel like I have the wealth, I start feeling isolated. So manage your risk factors based on the realities you face, but awareness is important. Be thirsty for information. Be thirsty to know. I think that is one of the appetites we need to live here with. I want to know everything about me, my realities, and how life looks like in this climate and health space. So thank you so much.
Wow, wow. Clap for the panel. Clap again. Were you really educated today? How many felt that if they're in class? Me, I felt as if I'm back in class. How many felt like that? How many like me? Okay. So we have learned so much today, and we have heard from the experts what they have told us. I'm just putting down some few summaries. Maybe you have your own summaries, but this is my own from just gathering what they have said, just in point form. Number 1 is that there needs to be an intergenerational forums on climate change. Okay? Sarah and Sarah? Okay, I'm McKenna. Sarah is my mother's name, so it's stuck here. You need to create these intergenerational forums, okay? Where you have OPS and climate experts, okay? Number 2 is that climate change discussions need to be integrated or regularized in OPA meetings, okay? Didan, Michael, yeah? Omwere, whenever you have your meetings in your OPS, try to always talk about climate change, yeah? The issues with the flooding, you see the floodings, how the people are affected, and the issue what he just raised about heat within the room where we're living in, yeah. And then there's I also gather that there's a lot of engagements, and particularly what he said, that they are engaging the public, but there's need to engage even the private sector, people who are building us homes that we're going to let or to rent, okay. We need to be educated, okay, so that they think about that 3 meters. So that we don't die silently. Yeah. Okay. There's also number 4. I gather that there's OPS and demanding space. The climate focused. Okay. She'll organize. I don't know how she'll organize it, but Michael, I know you are very chap and didn't. I know you are chap. Get her number, and in the next GACOF, she should rope you in there. There's something called GACOF. She'll brief you. See her behind the tent, eh? Claim your space there, okay? OPS also need to, they are saying that they'll be roped into county weather forecasting, okay? Those WhatsApp groups where there's this forecast being shared. And also that there's need for capacity building the CHPs, yeah? So they can have some basis of psychology and counseling so that when they go to respond to disasters, at least they know how to handle the other persons. And also information. He told us information. Information exists. Look out for it and get empowered, okay? It's your own, that's your own take home that I need to go to get information that's related to this climate change, okay? Go to their county, sub-counties offices, county offices at the ward level. If there's anything about climate change, get that information so that you safeguard yourselves from being victims of the negative impacts of climate change. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Are we learning something? Are we educated today? How many have been informed? And God said that the lack of knowledge is what kills, not the devil. So you're not going to die because today you have gained some knowledge. Sindivyo? Tuwapigie the organizers makofi. Mbarikiwe sana.
Give a round of applause to the panel before you leave. Just can sit. Yes. We want to take this opportunity to thank the panel. Tumelan, sindio? Tumesoma. Something that I have picked is that mental health, and there is a huge need for counselors. And I really, I had seen Jane Getao online from the Kenya Counselors and Psychologists Association, and we even launched that course in one of the MDFAs. So we have counselors, and I would really like to urge them, please liaise with the Mathare Network for Older Persons. We have a huge need in Mathare. I think also Mary raised it, that kupata tu mtu wa kumuongelesha, kuongea na yeye. When you are hit with such shocks, it is important to have somebody just to talk to. And we really need the counselors on the ground. And I also know Dedan is here from Kibera Daycare Center for the Elderly. We also have a huge group of older persons that were affected as well with the floods. The monthly discussion forum for aging brings older persons organizations in such forums. Please reach out. Do not leave without, I'm sure there is something that you can still do. Reach out, even if it's a bag of food. The most urgent needs, especially in Mathare right now, are clothing, food, shoes, clothes, and just that mental counseling, mental support. Yeah? So please, each and every one of us, we have the capacity to help. Let us not just live like this, yeah? And even Mary herself, she has shared her story. Majority of her things got burnt up. Let us not leave these people to live like that. So please reach out. Thank you even for the team online. We want to appreciate the panelists and the moderator. I'll invite my colleague, Nasike and Sarah will also come to just do the closing remarks for us as well. Nasike, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know, I'm so excited about the conversation today. I hope everybody in this room is as well. Yesterday I attended another forum. It was called Miminim Kenya. And the one takeaway from that forum yesterday was that Manu Chandaria gave a story about how when he was young, we only had like 2 pockets. But now, as time goes by, we've added so many pockets. And the problem is we are using these pockets to hold on to things that we think are of value to us. We forget that if God has blessed you, He has actually given you an opportunity to show His will through the things that He has given you. So I hope when we leave here today, we are thinking about how we're going to empower and support the people around us. Let us not just fill our pockets and make them as heavy as possible, but let us fill our pockets with the love that we'll have gotten by helping each and every person around us in the community. I want to thank this beautiful panel that we've had today. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am so in awe. Like the amount of knowledge that we have had today, the amount of insight that you have shared with us today. I'm even I told McKenna and Sarah, I think we need to do this again because I feel like we just don't have enough time to take as much as possible from all of you. You are so blessed and you have a lot of insight, and I hope we'll get more and more opportunities for you to come and share. So we've organized some little gifts for you here. Do I get Esther O'Mara, please come and help me? I think it's important to have our old people be part of this process. Please, Esther. Yes, 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 yes. Which other older person can I? Leo nimeambiwa nimesikia intergenerational. Nimesikia intergenerational. Sasa wacha nitafute nani? Who is the youngest person in this room, by the way? Faith Kuja. We'll have the oldest and the youngest person to come and help us gift our moderator. Yes, yes. And Mary Wamuri, please, let's start with you. We'll start with our youngest person giving you something small for coming to share your story. I believe it's very important for us to always have voices of older persons in this room. Gender balance. Okay. A young man. Who is the youngest? Ekise. You're the youngest man in this room. Zawadi. Okay, let's have Zawadi as the youngest man here today. Justus, please. You talked about warmth. Warmth and temperatures. So our gift is aligned with warmth. Zawadi, please, Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela, please. And then I will have McKenna and Sarah give the last two. Right? Sarah, please, Anne Wanjiru from Madare. And then lastly, we'll have the moderator who will be given his gift by McKenna. Colleagues. Yes. Yes. She's full of energy. She's full of energy. So thank you so much. Let me okay. Sarah.
Yes, from some place. Yes, we are the secretary. Okay. Now, use the microphone. Let me also give out something from ACSC. This is a project we did in Kajiado. I mean, in 3 countries: Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia. And you are looking at the nexus between climate change and mental health among farming communities in Uganda, pastoralists in Kenya, and pastors in Ethiopia. It was a project funded by the Climate Action of Canada, and it's just a digested brochure. It's about over 200 reports, but we just picked some few things. It's a small brochure that explains the project, and we are glad to have it over to you. Yeah. Yeah, have it in soft. Yeah, yeah.
Let me invite Sarah.
Okay. Good afternoon. How is the going? How do we feel? Okay. I wanted to McKenna, we did not release the pan list. Okay, thank you. So I wanted to invite Arnold as we conclude to take us through a brief social media engagement because we need to network. So Arnold, I hope everyone has access to the Wi-Fi.
How many minutes did you give me? 2. That is so little. I wanted us to stretch for a minute. Can we stand up and stretch a bit? Some of us have sat for quite a long while. If you're able to stand, stand. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Feeling better? All right, thank you. We can have a seat. So my name is Arnold, and I'm here to let you know about the hashtag for our conversation, which is hashtag MDFA. I'm here to let you know about our hashtag for this conversation so that we can keep it going even online. So for our online engagements, we can use hashtag MDFA. In addition, we'll project a screen with the QR code where you can access the photos in the course of the day. So once you scan, you can copy the link and still check it out in the course of the day so that you can get access to your photos for sharing. Now, the last thing that I'd like us to do is to look at your neighbor. Do you know who your neighbor is? Some of you have said yes. Some of you have said no. Have you met the neighbor before, or it's the first time? Is it the first time? So I'd like you to take out your phone if it is able to take a photo so that you can take a selfie. This is your moment to take a selfie with the very important person next to you. You know, next to you there is a VIP and you are not aware. So this is your time to take that selfie with your neighbor. This will even be helpful for your memories. You remember this important day when we had interesting conversations. Have you taken the selfie? Giving us half a minute to finalize on that. Uko nyuma sioni. I've not seen you taking a photo. Yeah? You've already taken it. We've taken the selfie. All right. So this is to encourage you to also tag the organizations that put this together. Remember to look for Sukun, Aging Concern Foundation, Ethel Foundation, and each and every other organization that is represented here. Yeah, so remember to tag these organizations in your favorite platform. I believe most of them have pages on those platforms. And that is how we'll stay connected. Additionally, remember to also connect to your neighbor if they are online or on certain platforms so that we can follow each other's work and support it as well. So I thank you, Sarah, for that opportunity and looking forward to continuing our engagement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Arnold. So we are going close to concluding our forum for today. But we are not done with the selfies. Mumbiko, we are waiting for you to finalize with your selfies and hashtags. Okay, so it was a quite interesting conversation today. And I picked a few things from every voice that was represented in the panel. The first point that I picked was we must integrate activities that make our environments more sustainable, with guidance by the knowledge that we obtain from the various forums, and also guided by the experts in the various forums, like NEMA that came very strong from Dr. Pamela. Then we must also ensure that other people are included in these forums. Don't just attend a public participation on their behalf. Let us ensure that we tag them to these forums, because we need their voices to be included, their direct experiences and realities to be part of the policy formulations. We should also advocate for digitalized public participation. I think Mumbiko whispered something to me when that point came up, and we will pick it up with the Public Participation Act and see what we can do about it, because it's very important. And then finally, I would also like to call upon all the organizations represented here today. If we don't have a focus area on climate action, climate change, I hope that the conversations in this room today will inform something new in our focus areas. Let the conversation not die at this point. So it's a challenge to all of us, even as we advocate for the rights of other people. What do they know about what is happening? They have very rich information about climate from their past experiences. So let's ensure that we include these voices in our action areas as organizations. Let's work closely with other persons who are also affected, so that we include their experiences in our advocacy. Thank you all for your insights and contributions. Together we can ensure that other people are not only protected, but also actively involved in shaping climate-smart communities. The point on intergenerational forums is very well noted, so we will ensure that we organize an intergenerational forum as soon as possible. Then I think with that, I'm going to bring the meeting to a close. I wanted Nasike to say something, but she seemed to have stepped out. We were supposed to finalize by 1, but we have extended the meeting with 25 minutes. So we sincerely apologize for that. To our online team, thank you so much for staying tuned, and we apologize for the technical itch that has been there. We will look into it and ensure that the upcoming forums are more inclusive. So with that, I would like to request a volunteer to pray for us. Please don't leave us with our lunch. So lunch will be served the same place where we had our breakfast. A volunteer to pray for us. Who? Okay, okay. Thank you. Amen. Thank you. I realized we did not take a group photo, so we can do that outside on our way to lunch. Okay. I'm being requested that we have the group photo here. So please, let's all move forward for the group photo.
Eric, this is a good place to take the group photo. Outside. Just outside here. Okay. Sarah, then we need to move the banners outside so that we take the photo.
We are not going outside.
We take it here. Outside.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm being requested we do the photo outside. Okay? Yeah. So as we arrange the banners and everything, you can take a short bathroom break. Thank you, our online people. See you in the next forum.
Thank you.